Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm here again with Will. We're so back. Everything's so. I'm gonna turn off Luigi's Mansion now. I'm sorry. Sorry to
Sure, you
say.
don't want to just play that game instead? I'm sure
We
it's going
could
to be a
just
lot
play.
less. It's going to be a lot less stressful.
Scary. Yeah. We could just
Also,
play
I just
Luigi's Mansion.
I got reminded I still need to do the Higurashi sprites froze.
Oh yeah. Well, the good news is we got plenty of fucking games still. Yeah, we can talk about that after this episode. But yeah, I hope you all have been well, chat. It's July. We just hit peak summer, and yesterday, as a summer treat, my air conditioner broke. It was so fucking hot in here, man. It was unbelievably hot.
Do you have like a fan in your room at least?
No. Whoever designed this apartment was evil. And they were like, okay, no fans, no overhead lighting. I don't have any lights or fans. So I just have lamps and an air conditioner that breaks every once in a while because my dad refuses to fix it.
Are you able to like get it fixed easily?
I mean, yeah. So I texted my landlord, who is my father, and he called the place, and they actually came over. They sent someone over at night to fix it. Like, my appointment started at 7 and ended at 8 p.m. So that's nice, at least. So I didn't have to sleep with it broken, but it was still like, it was still hot. I don't know.
I've pretty much been surviving by, I have like a little, like the floor fans?
Mm-hmm.
I just have that on like a little like stool, and I will just like freeze a block of ice, and then just put a block of ice in front of the fan. That shit's effective, but only for an hour.
Okay, I'm turning the game volume up, and I'm gonna turn the so I'm gonna get super jump scared. We actually started a little bit before we ended last time because there's gonna be a new CG that's gonna pop up and it's gonna scare us both. We're both gonna be very scared. Oh yeah, we've updated the game. The game is now fully customizable. So we're using actually the PlayStation 3 background, but we still have the beautiful, lovely sprites from the original that genuinely are great. Like, they have so much character.
It's also widescreen now.
It's also widescreen, so it fills up the whole screen. So now my background is useless, but that's okay. It didn't look great anyway.
Did the job.
I've lost my mind. Game audio. Okay, let me just make sure. Okay, this is set to 25. That should be loud enough. I'm sure we're gonna get jump scared. Okay. Yeah, so we read this last time. Ryugu, she transferred last year. She's your classmates. These incidents really might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not scared, is she? It wasn't that. Okay, hold on. We read all this last time. Oh, this is very nice. See, yeah, and now we can actually see who's speaking, which is very convenient.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Was that what it sounded like last time? It scared me, I think, more than that. Didn't sound that loud. Settings. Music volume, text box, music volume. Yeah, I've put the text speed to maximum. Okay, perfect. So Keiichi's dad pops up. Hangs up the phone with Oishi. On the tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea. Fairly fancy spread for our household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the side.
I just noticed we're blocking the text.
Are we blocking the text? We are blocking some of the text. Here, I can... Let me... How's that? That should be good, right?
Yeah, good.
Okay. I can make myself smaller. I am pretty big. Here. I'll just be behind you. be sneaking behind you. Oh. Oh. God, that sting hits. It still hits. Even though it's last time this happened at like 8 p.m. and I was going to shit myself.
She was here, wasn't she? On a channel? She wasn't here.
Come now, don't try to keep it from me. Wait, was I the dad or were you the dad? I can't remember.
I'm all of
You're all of Keiichi's family. Because, yeah, I'm like all the girls except for Satsuko. But a cold sweat dripped down my back. How long are we talking? Yeah.
I mean, we've already done this.
We have already done this part. I'm trying to find out. Something happens. Ooh, ooh.
Eating
for about an hour
in the hall.
Yeah, there we go.
Also, first time we had to actually get to see Keiichi.
Yeah, Keiichi not showing up. He actually does have a sprite, like has a proper Higurashi sprite. Yeah, so that's fun. So we're gonna get those to add more jump scares to the experience.
And we are caught up.
And now we're caught up. So wait, I think we did also do, if I recall correctly,
we did the footnotes.
We did the notes. It was a notice from the police chief. It just goes so we can view new tips. Notice.
If I remember, the note from the police chiefs are like discussing how like.
This is from several years ago.
They found a circumstance of. Oh wait, this was from a while ago. Oh.
Okinomiya Station.
I might have got it mixed up with thinking that they were talking about how the circumstances for that guy's death was pretty unusual.
Yeah, well, 1982 is let me see here. The housewife murder. Student disappearance. So this is Satoshi. 1979 case was when the site foreman was murdered. So I can't remember. I think the year that we are in is like 1983, maybe. I think it's 1983 for us. All right, we're good. We can now continue. I'm gonna save the game. End of chapter 8. I'm gonna save the first file. July 2nd. So yeah, it's been a minute. Oh, I did all the quick saves. Oh, it's fine. I was just trying to figure out when the last time we played was. It's a few months ago.
It's a while.
Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day.
What's wrong? Keiichi? You don't look so well.
This music
when did
is
you
very
go to
pretty.
sleep?
It seemed that my mom had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday I kept waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. I told myself repeatedly that it was in my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did this 3 times throughout the night. Or maybe I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get to the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease. It might be a cold. Oh, that's you. Fucking shit. Yeah. We gotta get a little bit back into the... I'm curious. So that's new.
Gotta get into the swing of things.
Interesting. I like the manga gamer music. All right, so it might be a cold. I didn't really have an appetite.
My,
Will? Oh yeah, you're good.
you do seem a bit warm. Well, can you make it to school?
Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. I don't even have to do it. It just does it for me. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Rena. It was Rena.
Keiichi-chan came to get you. What are you gonna do? Oh, Rena-chan. Sorry. Are you gonna take the day off? Rena was. Girl.
Oh.
See, now
yeah.
now it's tripping
yeah,
up over
it's like, at least it's not the scrolling over the screen, but yeah, we're good. Rena was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Yo, hello, Greg. Welcome in. Why should I be scared of someone like that? It wasn't Rena's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be.
I'll rest. Sorry.
This is you again. This is Keiichi's mom.
Then I'll go send her off for you.
If you want, I can do the mom, but it's up to you. Mom
no,
headed off to the door.
Yeah. You know, it's been a while.
It has been a while. How are you two today? We're doing good. We're getting back into the swing of things. It's nice we got this whole new setup. I would have to pass by the entrance. Whoa, shit. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. See Rena. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Rena, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. Oh my god. I was so sleep deprived, I quickly fell into a deep slumber. I feel very uneasy. I had only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table I found my lunch prepared and a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. They would be back for dinner, but might be a bit late. On the note, it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet. Take it and go to the hospital." Oh god.
What?
That seems a bit dramatic. How was Japanese healthcare in 1983? Also, did I see the Femboy Forum Gala art? I did. The one that like combos and who was the other artist that worked on that?
It was a big collaboration. There was a lot of artists.
It was huge, yeah. There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it was really just leftovers from the morning, and just in case went to the hospital. They're taking no chance. They're just going to the hospital willy-nilly.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I got a cold. I gotta get my ass to the hospital.
Yeah, really? Normally, I'd never be here in the middle of a weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's map, I took a road I usually never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Why did I say it like that? That's funny. Well, we're at the hospital. Oh, fuck! Irie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot and even a reserved spot for buses. There was a parking lot and even a reserved... Oh, I just read that. Fucking Christ. They must be making a mint. It's like the American healthcare system. Oh, alligator.
I love that little alligator.
He's cute. Look at him. Now what we have the option to do is we can go to F10 and we can see the different, hold on, the original background for this. Hey, the alligator is still there. So this is like a picture. I think this is a picture that they put a filter over, I'd imagine. And then and then once they got the budget, they drew it for the console version. That's
pretty
awesome.
good.
That is great. Spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen. Air conditioning in the 80s goes crazy. Maibara-san, please make your way to the examination room. After half-heartedly answering all of the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "It's probably a cold."
It's probably a cold.
They gave me a shot and 3 days worth of medicine. I thought it was a little overboard, but if it would clear away the gloomy feeling I'd been having lately, then it was worth it.
I will say, nothing annoys me more than going to the doctor as he checks you up. It's like, well, everything seems fine, so...
Yeah. Huh. Everything looks normal, so I'm just gonna send you back. Send you home. I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. If it wasn't for that word. Must have been an Onikakushi. I wonder. She was still pretty young. Might have just eloped. With whom? That man from Tokyo who visits every season. That one with the big camera. No, they're talking about, didn't you know they were getting along pretty well? They're talking about,
No, I know who they're talking about.
Fuck, I can't remember her name.
It was the lady. Yeah, it was the
Takano
lady.
Mio.
Yeah.
Who was with, Tomitake. Were they talking about Tomitake-san?
Yeah, because she's still, missing at the moment.
She is missing, and Tomitake was found deceased. Nipa, hello, Key Energy. Key Energy knows the memes. Nipa, I don't know if we're gonna get a Nipa yet. It might be a bit until we get a Nipa. We're still in the first book. I could feel my ears perking up. I don't know about that, but you have to make preparations before you elope. Leave a note or quit their job or something. It's an elopement because they didn't leave a note or message. The thought that I'll never see that young nurse's face again makes me rather sad.
So she worked here?
Yeah, she's a nurse. Takano-san is an upstanding young woman. She'll be fine wherever she goes. So her name was Takano-san. That woman with Tomitake-san. And she worked at this clinic? Oyashiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing, and it didn't seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape Oyashiro-sama's shadow.
Yo, this lady got spirited away, but I got this big red snapper, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, dude's just bragging about his fishing trip when there's a fucking dead person and they're...
Oh yeah, she could be dead, but yo, this big bass...
No, Tomitake is definitely dead. Oh, fucking hilarious. Oyashiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. Alright. Would you like to take over narration? I can already feel my thrusty getting a little bit throttled.
Get some lubrication in your throat, my friend. Maybe it was because I was walking outside, but my appetite has suddenly returned. Might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Compensating that, I turned on a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me.
Great.
Was I really so far in the middle of the road where I had to be in a car's way? I moved forward to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around, peeved. Ah, the cop.
Yep, Oishi.
How do I pronounce it?
Oishi.
So it's Oishi. How
Oh,
do I pronounce
yeah. Oh, Maibara-san.
Naibara-san.
Yes.
Good day to you.
It was
It's
Oishi-san.
Oishi-san.
Oh, it's you.
He stepped out of his car, AC still on full blast, and waved to me.
Well, rub it in, why don't you? My AC was busted. Yes, shit fucking sucks. There he is.
What's up today? School on break? Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was about to buy lunch and head on home. That's great. Just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together?
Dude, I'm sick. Chill.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to get
I'm fucking sick.
Ah, if you're not feeling up for it, then don't bite me. I was just gonna lie down after going home anyway. And I didn't really have a cold. I'd expect you'd rather avoid using the one of the local places. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive, but that's alright. I know a pretty good place. I'd finally begun to understand Oishi-san's roundabout ways of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Miyazawa.
We're in the car again.
I went with Oishi-san riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie. Sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you? No. I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation at all time, separated from me by just the door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, the thought still creeped me out. The big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the big city has changed from a dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This is where Tamataki-san died. They had a snag on the investigation regarding Tamataki-san. Oishi-san spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye. They believe it was caused by hallucinogenics, given how he was clawing out at his own throat.
Oh, yeah.
But a drug that could have caused this so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, of course, the autopsy was done with the premise in mind, but we didn't find any leads. You know that thing you see in the manga all the time? Where there's a drug that doesn't leave any traces after being consumed? It exists. Sukin...
I don't know. Sucking alcohol. Something like that.
Alcohol or something.
Yeah,
something
geez.
or other. Christ. Well, it's pretty common. But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Tamataki-san to react like that. Then you're saying the police concluded Tamataki-san just died from the curse? I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless.
This is a classic. This is a fucking Satoru from fucking
True words
Erased.
were never said.
Homie's 10 years old and he's just like, what a bunch of fucking useless people.
He's already got the police apathy.
Yeah. And think about it, like Keiichi's actually like a high school student.
I just wanted the idea of a curse to be dissociated from Tamataki-san's mysterious death. Unfortunately, that's how it's going to look right now. But putting aside the cause of the death, without a doubt he was surrounded by a group of people that had taken a beating before he died.
It's the weird thing, huh?
That was no curse. but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans. That made me a bit relieved.
Really?
I mean, I don't know. I think the notion that there's
Curses
like
are scary,
an evil
sure.
fucking god out there
Yeah.
punishing people is a bit scary.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. People take solace in knowing that, oh, the shitty things in life, oh, it's just done by humans.
Right.
We passed in front of a rather desolate, but still busier than Hinamiyazawa train station. The car pulled into the restaurant parking lot, and I followed Oishi-san into the shop. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course, there wouldn't be any children here in the middle of a weekday. 2, please. I'll make do with non-smoking.
This way, please. When you're ready to order, please call me over.
We were led by a
Peculiar.
peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Oishi-san in the booth.
Believe this is a maid cafe.
It's not McDougal's?
Nah.
So what do you think? Aren't the waitress's outfits here cute? Oh, Oishi's one of those people, huh?
Oishi-san.
Sir, I'm 10. Huh?
He's like 15. Still.
Huh? I guess. The shop's always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses than the food you see.
What a fucker.
Uh-huh. Oishi-san, you're leering. Hmm? Am I really?
What a fucking... Okay. It sure is... Dude, it sure is the 80s. Only in the 80s.
Dude, I can't wait for the fucking American reboot of Higurashi where they go to a Hooters.
They go to a Hooters. Yeah, he takes a... I mean, they'd make him 18. They'd make all the kids 18 because you can't have children murdering each other and fucking... Ugh. I mean,
Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough.
This is a pretty... I like this BG.
I would eat the shit out of that, like...
This one?
The fucking strawberry shortcake.
Oh, that looks great. This looks
Finishing
like a
our meal.
Napoleon.
Yeah, the Napoleon. Finishing our meals while talking about some innate topic. Oishi-san, after a meal cup of coffee, arrive at the table. Yesterday, we talked about Hinamiyazawa's past, didn't we? Yeah, that was the village of man-eating demons or something like that. I don't know much about it myself, so I asked my mother about it this morning. Oishi-san took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket. Oh god, abrupt stop to the music.
Abrupt jazz music stops.
Turned out that Hinamiyazawa used to be called the
Onikakushi.
Onikakushi, the Demon's Abyss. Onikakushi. See, after I start getting fucking good at actually pronouncing it, Hinamiyazawa, they fucking give me another
They
name
throw
to fucking
other
memorize.
ones like, it used to be called this, Onikakushi, and you're like, fuck. I'll learn
That's
a new
quite the
name.
Yeah. The name's still around. The swamp here, where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself, is still called the Onikakushi.
Onikakushi. Dude, what a great... It's like, yeah, that swamp where the Shinto's priest's wife drowns herself. God.
It said the depths of that swamp connects to the realm of demons. Of course, nobody has told me anything about such an ominous swamp.
Yeah.
And you see, it appears that they were both feared and revered. A respect born of fear. I guess you should say it was some kind of
Deification.
deification.
It was some kind
Man.
of deification.
Man, I wish I could spoken English better.
Dude, this is a landmine of a word.
Deification.
Yeah.
A village of inhuman creatures. Seems that the demons were Sermon, or mountain-dwelling mystics of sorts. Villages with incurable illnesses would be taken to the Oni place to be
Onikakushi,
healed, for
yeah.
examples. Even if they calling them demon, Tengu, long-nosed goblins, or Serens would be more apt descriptions. They don't seem like such terrible people, even though they were called demons. But they were still man-eating demons. According to the story my mother told, as payments for treating the son's illness, let us eat the mother who brought him here, was apparently how things went. The price of curing her son was herself? That's unsettling. Of course the mother took her son and ran. Well, then you see, all the villagers of the Oni place demons chased, surrounded, and captured them. The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine. In the end, it seemed both the mother and son were caught and eaten.
Why? I don't get it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't get it. I don't get his whole deal. He's like, okay, so here's this lore, and I'm gonna put it forth to you as that this is real.
I mean, a part of me just assumes that, like, I mean, the thing in Japan is that, like, they actually give a shit about their folklores and shit. Like, there's a ton of folklore shit in the UK, and no one hardly ever talks about it.
Well, this was also the 80s, so maybe, and it's a small town, so I could definitely see how in the small town backwater village of Hinamizawa, people
some parts of the world they actually like really like their folklore and they like talking about it. Other places are just like, nah, that shit's for babies.
Yeah, that's true.
In the end, it seems both the mother and son was caught and eaten. The end.
The end.
There's a problem with this story.
There's a couple.
Both witnesses in the story were eaten, so no one would have been able to tell the tale.
True. You're too smart.
Huh? There's plenty of old fables like this.
You're too smart, Keiichi.
In contrast to the ghastly tale, Oishi-chan laughs heartily while sipping his coffee. But, well, there's quite a few other tales where the demons from Onikakushi, is that how you pronounce it? Onikakushi, band together to capture their prey. I recall that Mion said that all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities to how that part about unification overlapped. They would always hunt down a single person, and when they chose who it was going to be, beforehand? Huh?
They would always hunt down a single person, and they chose who it was going to be beforehand. No.
I just put the inflection on the wrong part.
You're so good. Also, thank you so much for the follow. Oh, dude, I fucking have completely lost. Thank you, Bedwards, for the follow. I hope you're enjoying the stream. That caught my attention.
That caught my attention. Yeah, I'll let you. Take
yeah. You're having to read like all the characters because fucking all the girls are back in town. Oishi-san also appeared to be pondering what that meant.
Oh shit! Let me get the stream back up.
Ah, yeah, you're good.
My mother told me you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You should just hold up in your house and hide under the covers, she said. So what does it all mean? It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey.
What a fucked thing to say.
As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. Seems like that kind of rule.
Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you don't see the atrocities, in other words. He is truly a policeman, just saying. Also, hello, Mia.
I don't know. I think he's trying to get Keiichi to relate this to certain events, I think.
I just don't get it. I don't get his motive here.
What happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all.
Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the entire village was in on the crime. Oh, he's trying to turn
Yeah, that's
Keiichi
what I said.
against his friends because he suspects that the villagers are involved but doesn't expect that Keiichi's involved. Okay, I get it now. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable that the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die, quote unquote, when there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it?
Basically, villagers were turning a blind eye to, if I remember, it was Mion's like family going against the construction people.
Right. Yeah. I didn't dare speak it.
Then Oishi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the entire village or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes. What do you think, my Bara-san? Excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please.
Dude, you're gonna drink way too much coffee. That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say the last part. He waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking.
Last night, I had a nagging feeling when... God damn it.
I can read the names. Like last year...
Sato Shin-kun?
Satoshi-kun.
Satoshi-kun disappeared.
I think it's Satoshi. But Satoshi, Satoshi...
Yeah, Satoshi.
Yeah, Satoshi.
I just need to get into the habit of reading it phonetically.
Satoshi is actually Ash's name in the Japanese.
Interesting.
Oishi-san muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee.
So those friends of Satoshi-san, meaning your group of friends, Miyaban-san, I had a bit. Literally just a little bit, okay? Of a background check done on them.
If Oishi-san had said this to me before, I would have gotten angry at him for calling my friends into question. But as I was now, I couldn't.
This might sound pretty stupid.
My Bara-san.
My Bara-san. If you're feeling it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop.
Oishi-san was wearing the most serious expression that I'd ever seen from him. So wait, what did he say? Oh, okay. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and then listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Oishi-san, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi.
Point of no return.
Yeah, here we go. Stop, Keiichi. This was probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth.
Please.
That was all I could utter. Oishi-san stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began.
The victim of the incident in the first year was an overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation at Mion's Sonozaki-san?
Yes.
Okay.
So Mion.
Multiple altercations.
Oishi-san had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up. God.
In the second year, a married couple who supported the project died in an accident, right? Their daughter was with them at the time.
Yeesh.
Her name was Sasuko Hojo-san?
Yes. Oh, Keiichi didn't know. Keiichi didn't know.
Sasuko meaning Sasuko?
Oishi-san's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it as well and quickly quieted down.
The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year, you see? Their daughter was Rika Furude-san. Rika-chan was the housewife who died in the fourth year. You already know, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Sasuko Ojo-san. She was her aunt and the uncle custody, as she lost both of her parents in the accident.
Yeah, so her aunt and uncle had her custody because both of her parents died in the second year incident.
She lived with the victims. She lived in the victim's house.
I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre accident, one that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it had snuck all the way to my feet.
The one who disappeared in the 4th year, by the way, was Sasuko-san's older brother. What? Wait just a second.
It took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. But Oishi-san was relentless. So, Satoshi is Satoko's older brother. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard.
All these victims seem to be connected to your group of friends. That had to be just a coincidence. Alright, boss. Keep it down. Everyone's looking.
Mion, Satoko, Rika-chan. So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rena is different, isn't she? Rena isn't connected with the victims at all.
Rena Ryugugis. How do I pronounce that one again? Ryugu-san was living in the suburbs of
Ibaraki.
Yeah,
there's so many Japanese names. This is the most Japanese shit ever.
Year.
Yeah.
Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims.
He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected?
Actually, I looked into her before Ryugu.
You can just say Rena.
Before Rena moved away from Hina Miyazawa, she was suspended from school. It seems like she went through her skill building and broke all the windows. Rena did that? She broke all the windows in her school? Why does Big Bro look like the purple guy?
Wait. Does Oishi look like, or no? Does Oishi look like purple guy?
I kinda see it.
Dude, there's a little part of my boomer ass brain that makes me angry that people are comparing characters from Higurashi to FNAF. Dude, this came out 13 years. This came out 13 years before William Afton was sperm in his daddy's balls, okay?
No, actually, wait.
But it's fair.
When did Higurashi take place?
You know, it took place in 1983, but the first game came out in like 2002.
Jake, I got some bad news for you. 1983 was when William Afton was murdering people.
No, this is connected. I mean, I think I see it now because now it looks like he has the fucking spring trap. Higurashi is as old as you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is. This game is great. This game is fantastic. I mean, look, the anime came out, and if you were born in 2002, right? Then the anime came out in 2004 or in 2006 when you were 4 years old. So that's something. Also, the first time I watched Higurashi was in 2009. I was not 7 years old. I was in high school. You're a baby. You're pretty young, but you're over 18, so you're allowed here. Also, welcome in, Capricious. Okay, that same spacey. I don't understand what I'm saying here. That same spacey Rena head.
I think I think it's like talking about like how Rena like is kind of always like spaced out and aloof and silly.
Yeah, yeah. We like cute Rena broke all the windows at her school. I couldn't even imagine it.
It seems like after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with. God, this is going to be a hard one.
Dysautonomia. Oh, you
Dysautonomia.
got dysautonomia. Yeah, I think you got it.
Dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication.
I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I'd heard
I'm
that.
actually curious.
Oh, you're gonna look it up? Hell yeah.
What was it again?
Dysautonomia. Here, if you want, I can. Right here. Dysautonomia. One time I got dysautonomia in Hinamizawa when I was going to the Watanagashi Fest. I'm just gonna throw as many fucking long words. You could really play some fun word games with this. Big lady hours, yippee, hello, Scrotus Maximus.
Autonomic failure of. Sorry, I'm trying to read this chart to make sure I actually get it right.
Autonomic failure. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I don't really know how to describe this. Because it's just giving me the symptoms because Google can't fucking do its job anymore.
Lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting, heart palpitations, difficulty breathing, and gastrointestinal issues like nausea and constipation. That sucks.
You know what? I'd be pissed off too.
Chronic fatigue, just all bad. It's all bad. I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I'd heard that it happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive. Neither of those matched Rena's easygoing personality.
And then the counselor medical report. He recorded all the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up. And quite a bit at that. What did?
I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret.
She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama.
It felt like someone's stone-cold hand was caressing my back. Why? Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa?
Seems like that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing to her in her house every night. Standing over her pillow, looking down at her.
My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told.
After a while, she moved to See, now I'm not used to fucking saying this name anymore.
Hinamizawa. Yeah.
Ah, that's right. She's not an outsider. Huh? According to the residency registry, the Rigugu Rena's family used to reside in Hinamizawa. They moved to Ibaraki just as Rena-san entered elementary school. We need a 4-kids of this.
Yeah, the 4 kids.
To Tokyo.
She moved to Tokyo is good. Oh, fuck. Okay, I thought we were going to be scared, but now we're just fucking having a good time. This is a classic. My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. The Midnight Channel? My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension.
Maribara-san, are you alright? Shall we stop?
Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here.
Now we know about Rena. Then, how about the last victim, Tomitake-san? Who is he connected with?
Irritated, I let out one final reprisal.
All of them. Haven't you forgotten, Maribara-san? Didn't you spend all the night of the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves.
Now there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush.
We should get going.
Thanks, Vishi.
Ah, Maribara-san. Did you take your afternoon medicine?
I had completely forgotten about the medicine I had gotten today until Oishi-san said that. I got another glass of water and we left the shop after I chugged it down. This sucks. This fucking sucks. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. Badump.
Badump.
Badump. That big jolt was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Tomitaki-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car. This music does not fit at all. This is a little bit better. This is also kind of... Why is it so whimsical? All the music, is all weird
I'm reminiscing
choices.
about my friend being murdered.
I thought I heard Tomitake-san scream. Pleasant piano music playing.
I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me?
I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer.
I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop. Not that. Why did you reach out to me? Yeah, I fought.
I don't understand why he's saying what he's saying. I understood quite well that Oishi-san was investigating the string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this?
I think it's a bit of a stretch to be like, yo, police officer, who's your best lead? I don't know, this fucking 15-year-old child is giving me some pretty good vibes.
Yeah, it's like, it's really weird. I mean, I guess it's the 80s, so we don't have anything, and this is Japan. I don't know how Japan does things. I'm sure their justice system is completely different. But, like, even so, maybe in the 80s this was different, but just, like, basically interrogating a child.
Pretty sure there's some laws against that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there definitely are now. I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Oishi-san spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, possibly know? By chance, if there was a reason for Oishi-san to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I was part of Mion's circle of friends who looked suspicious to Oishi-san.
I'm retiring this year.
This is a fucking cliche.
Oh, so he's gonna fucking die. I
mean, not necessarily.
No, if you're retiring, that's a death mark.
I mean, you saw Seven, right? Or did you? I don't remember if you saw Seven or not.
I've not seen Seven in a while.
Oh, Seven's really good.
No, I remember it being good. I just haven't seen it in ages.
Well, I'm saying that that Somerset doesn't die, and he retires, or he's retiring.
Okay, there's like a 75% chance that if you say I'm retiring, you're gonna die.
It's very high.
I plan on moving away after retiring, as my mother wants. So while I'm still in the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. So, Oishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them?
Oishi-san didn't really give a response. It felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings. It was a bit late.
This is mostly my intuition from 30 years in the job. Maribara-san, you're the one in danger.
Fuck.
Huh?
I wanted to reply with, "That's absurd," but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it.
I'll be retiring this year, so I won't be at the Watanagara next year.
Watanagashi. There's so many fucking words.
So I wanted to settle things.
In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the next victim.
I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases have been solved, so don't bring it up again. Or so I was told.
Solved.
This is the pressure that I'm facing. Pressure from what? Someone, Hinamiyazawa. Ah, we've arrived. Is this fun?
My house. After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. Welcome in, Mr. Don Juan. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. You're telling me it's fucking hot right now. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears.
I won't mind if you just forget everything I told you today.
Good luck.
But I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Oyashiro-sama's curse by this year. So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens? It's fine. Just contact me when you feel like you have to, Maribara-san.
I wasn't collected enough to understand Oishi-san's roundabout way of saying it.
Be sure to take it easy.
Great news, I'm retiring tomorrow. Dude, Oishi's in the chat. Holy shit.
Sorry for throwing all this at you while you're still taking the day off because you're sick.
I didn't really give any sort of response.
I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. Yeah, that's what all cops say.
Yeah, they do.
I'll be off now.
I'm
on your side. I'm the good guy.
Dude, he's exhausting. The tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into a cloud of kicked up dust. It felt like I was watching a boat. It felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. Okay, that's a pretty good analogy. That was the first time I thought That was the first time I thought Oishi-san was being unfair. Telling me I was going to be the next victim, then just saying contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing. And I was just the bait dangling off the line. The cicada is pissed. Dude, this is the fucking loudest cicada. Would the fish be the perpetrator? Or was it really just Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole.
Damn, I don't want to die.
Okay, Ichi. For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car. What a chapter. Dude, we've gotten a lot of Oishi. I'm a little bit tired of Oishi. Hopefully we can get some new shit. We're home. I wonder how much time had passed since I laid down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It would probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice it.
Hello, this is the Maribaras residence. Sorry, I don't know why that gave me such fucking trouble.
No, it's okay. Oh, he's alive. Hello. This is Mion. How are you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Is this one of Keiichi's friends?
What?
He's pretending to be he's pretending to be his dad.
Pretending to be his dad?
Yeah. Keiichi is resting now, but shall I put him on now?
This is funny.
Huh?
This is funny. Huh? Is this his dad? Sorry.
Bwaha, bwaha, ha, 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 ha. Idiot.
Baka.
You fell for it.
Huh? K-chan! After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her, even as we were laughing. Oh, come on. Baba. Baba.
I like the first one, Baba.
Baba.
You Baba.
Baba. Was everybody really involved in the accidents? This music is not fitting. The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me. I'm relieved that you seem well. Rena was really worried, you know? Satoko-chan was happy and said you got what you deserved. Rika-chan said, oh, how unfortunate, he's sick.
It looks like everyone was making a big deal out of it.
Well, you know. So, Kei-chan, is now a bad time to come pay you a visit?
A visit? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying.
My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see? I was told to share them, so I'll bring you some.
Hey now, you'll catch my cold.
Not to worry, both Rena and I are too stupid to catch a cold. Yo, Anne, welcome in, thank you for the lurk. See ya! Be there in a bit. She hung up cheerfully. How do you hung up cheerfully? It's funny, I like it. Rena's coming.
It's like when you
too.
go bye, and then you just like hang up.
Click. I don't know why I clapped.
Yeah.
Rena's coming too. That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with Mion. Too stupid to catch a cold? Same. So real. It can catch you. It catches me though all the time. I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later. Oh, they're here. Yeah. How are you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest?
I did just that.
Thank goodness, you look well. I was worried.
Sorry, I'll be fine by tomorrow.
Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who's recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions.
Mion's literally packing heat.
Yeah, she's got her fucking gyat. That's not what it's called. I thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it.
Huh? You don't say.
It seemed my face appeared a bit sullen. Then here, Keiichi-kun. These are the mochi Mi-chan's grandma made. She got the strap. Rena held out the package wrapped in newspaper. There might be about 5 in here. It was quite hefty.
Ah, thanks. Send my regards to your grandma Mion.
Yep. And there's one that I made in there as well. I wonder if Keiichi-kun can guess which one. Huh. This is Kei-chan's homework since he missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each mochi, so I'll ask you tomorrow.
Were you checking if I was feeling better, or did you just come here for a club activity?
Yep, looking fine. Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow.
Man, what are you gonna do if my fever comes back because of your shenanigans?
Mi-chan, we shouldn't be making such a racket. Let's go. The other people here will get angry. Both of them thought my parents were home. It was because the entranceway was such a mess. You're right, let's get going. By the way, Kei-chan.
Yeah?
Fuck. Oh, fuck, I gotta snooze. We gotta snooze ads. Also, welcome in. She got the gat and the gyat. Okay, I need to see. We're doing this again. Show me the console.
Steve Harvey, show me the console!
Show me the console.
Yeah!
Console Mion is not bad. The Manga Gamer one, not my favorite. Rena looks alright.
The original one.
The original's just the best. It's so good.
I think it's more impactful too.
It is. It really hits. What did you eat for lunch? The sudden question startled me, and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. I had never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why is she asking me about what I ate for lunch? What she said was so inane, it was almost meaningless. The way she said it, It was almost like she didn't even care at all about what I ate.
I ate up.
She must have suspected that I was with Oishi-san. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitated or tried to change the subject, then they'd read too deep into it, so I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except, contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied. So you ate out for lunch, Keiichi-kun. The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if to make me feel the feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew. That's how it looked to me. Well, was it good?
Why are you asking me this?
Mion was speaking in an unusually low tone, almost as if she knew that I had eaten at the restaurant in town. Oh, we gonna die right now? Mia, we're fine. They're high school girls. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There was no way they could have known where I was. Seems you were with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he?
Busted.
The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood had drained from my face, making me go pale. Oh? Keiichi-kun, who was he? Could it be the person from before, I wonder? I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything.
Oh? How do you know that?
It took everything I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaking. Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know. Mion sneered knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever. So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about? It seemed like you got pretty worked up over it, too.
You weren't talking about you guys. Wow,
Keiichi is such a bad liar. It's incredible.
It didn't have anything to do with you or Rena.
Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up, even though nobody asked about that? Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peeled further inside me. Let's see this console. Yeah, now this is, it's getting bad. It's getting not so great. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much it felt like I was going to explode. Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all. Remember that. I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly. Hey, Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good. I think you should go lie down. That's true. We should both head back home. As if nothing had happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way out. Well, that sucked. I hadn't moved a muscle since I dropped the package of mochi. As they left, the door slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was just about closed, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing once again. A single eye peered in through the narrow slit, and Mion's hawkish gaze peered at me once again. See you, Kei-chan.
Yeah.
I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow, all right? Thud. The door closed. I wasn't able to move a muscle even after their low laughter died off into the distance, and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I did was lock the door. Yeesh. They knew what Oishi-san and I talked about? Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard from the beginning when Oishi-san met me. Just as Mion said, I couldn't hide anything. Then what were they trying to tell me? That
Hey,
part.
she's not my dude.
Yeah, he's having a breakdown. That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Oishi-san about one thing, and they were warning me that was unnecessary. What was it that Oishi-san talked to me about? The incidents involving Oyashiro-sama's curse that had occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole, as well as the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that what they are warning me against?
What nonsense am I thinking about?
I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a loud slap. If only that would wake me up from this nightmare. But for some reason it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down. Calm down. Settle down and sort things out. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Oishi-san was probably because somebody from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at the time. They must have told Mion that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had any ulterior motives. That's it. That's gotta be it. Thinking about it that way, it has to be the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about... I was just being strangely ambiguous about things when I met with Oishi-san, and Rena was just correcting me on that. Okay, I don't... That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena, and was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. It felt like my mind was mixed up in like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have poured out of my nose and ears if you squeezed my head. It's a very...
Mamma mia.
Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. That's... I really didn't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head.
That's apt.
Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. It didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think that they're a good bunch of people. When I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of anything, they were really kind to me. Rena was really kind and always looked after me. As long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she was really pretty cute. Mion is also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender, and was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with her. And talking about not getting bored, rambunctious Satoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends.
I'm curious how Rika-san is like considered to be like involved.
Well,
her
parents died.
Yeah, it kind of just seems like
maybe.
She's a victim of circumstance.
I agree. It is kind of crazy to be like, hey, this very young child, both of her parents died. Her mom drowned herself in the swamp. Both of her parents committed suicide. This is her fault. She's evil. It's a little bit crazy. But after hearing of the better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Oishi-san and Tomitake-san, when I was told about Oyashiro-sama's curse, things just started going crazy. Then hearing from Oishi-san that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. After that, everyone changed.
Yeah, her parents fucking died. She's pretty sus.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, Satoko too, it's crazy. That's right. It all started weird after Oishi-san told me all that strange stuff. At that time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories. I shouldn't even have asked Tomitake-san about the past incidents on the night of the Watanagashi. If I just hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity. If I just hadn't... That's right. So that's why they killed Tomitake-san? Fucking...
Why is killed censored?
So that's why they unalived Tomitake-san? That impudent outsider speaking to the likes of me after everyone went out of their way to keep it a secret from me? They'll probably fuck. That's why they retired him. Why they, huh?
They'll probably what?
They'll probably, huh? They'll probably kill Oishi-san as well. For trying to unearth what everybody was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for spewing words that made me doubt the others. Of course a guy like that is going to be killed. Both Tomitake-san and Oishi-san were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities who couldn't coexist with the people of Hinamizawa. Those guys should just fall to Yashiro-sama's curse and just die. Wait, what? Wait.
They should just die.
Okay, I think Keiichi's losing it. It wasn't their fault.
Bro, you need to take your medicine and get back to fucking bed.
Yeah. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. 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 I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling, like I had just gotten up, but the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I had completely recovered. I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in the club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them after all.
It reminds me, I need to eat those mochis. After fucking what happened, I'd probably check them for razor blades. Hope I'm able to tell which one Rena made.
I remembered the homework the two brought with them when they visited me. But wow, our club did delivery? That was something else. I picked up the package I'd dropped onto the floor and headed into the living room. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh, this was quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening the newspaper wrapping, there were 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters written from left to right on the newspaper. A, B, C, D, and E. Now then, they said Rena made one of these. I wonder which one. There wasn't much of a difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared about the same. It was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena's had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi was made very neatly. So well that just by staring at it, one could say it stood out.
Looks like this challenge depends on whether or not this one is Rena's.
Calm down and think even harder. Mion said her grandma made a ton of them and was going to give some out, if I remembered correctly. So that meant 4 of these were from that large batch. Then what about Rena? She probably only made 1. So she probably spent quite a bit of time on it. That's not what I meant to do. Meaning the one Rena had made was this one, E. For a moment, I thought it may have been a trap Mion laid, as she knew I'd pick up on it, but that probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Rena made it, it probably wasn't a trap.
Alright. My team's running 2. I'll start with the defending champ Mion's grandma. Let's see.
Not bad. The smooth bean paste and soft, chewy texture left little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. Now, how about Rena's? The creation was so delicate, one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. But, well, first a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there was little difference in flavor. What was different was how it was shaped at the end, so it was to be expected. So the deciding factors would be presentation and volume. The well-formed and well-sized champion versus Rena the challenger, with a size you just couldn't get enough of. I'd only had one bite of Rena's. I would probably wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset.
Chew.
Seems my prediction was right. My tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached in with my fingers and grabbed it. What?
What?
What was this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could. It slammed against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then, after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? Rena had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that performed such a vile act. Then I remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. At first I thought it was a hair. Even though it was shorter than Mion's, Rena's hair was still quite long, and it wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around on my tongue. There was a bit of a metallic sheen on one end of it. Ah, yeah, there was a hole for where thread goes through, like it was a sewing needle. Yes, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle. Exactly like one. The end was pointed as well, quite sharply. It really did look just like a sewing needle. Huh? What did I mean by it looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? I couldn't answer, but a voice inside me already knew, and let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't stave off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly, I tasted something metallic and felt a prickling pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if I was bleeding. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. The sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both my hands over my mouth, and after writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold back the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was throbbing intensely. Then it finally registered. Exactly what was mixed in with the mochi. Before I could think of the correct word, my hands were already on the move. Splat, plop, splort. I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. The geometrical patterns of the scattered bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. After looking away, I dashed out to the hall and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under the covers until morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat or warning or reminder. Nothing as simple as that. What had happened in Hinamizawa? What is happening in Hinamizawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to any of these questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Rena and Mion and the others, they consider me an enemy. And they thought I should just die? I won't let you kill me. Not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if I... Huh? Sorry.
Overlook the fact that Rena just tried fucking killing him.
I mean, it's just a little sewing needle prank. Sewing needle in the mochi ball.
Ah, yeah, prank. Yeah, of course, yeah, prank.
Yeah. It was as if I was being drawn into a billowing, bottomless swamp.
I'll pick up the narration for the next part.
Yeah. I actually have to pee, so I might... Give me 1 second. Do you need to take a little break?
Yeah, I'll get another drink. I'll be right back.
We just knocked out 2 chapters, though. Fuck yeah. What an incredible title.
The drug that makes you kill yourself.
All right, I'll be right back. I also just got an achievement that says enjoy a homemade meal. Threat. All right. Ooh.
And I'm back.
Good timing. I also just came back. Can I just say how nice it is to have working air conditioning? Holy shit. So much better. All right, let's view our new tips. All right. What's a drug that makes you commit suicide? Oh, yeah, I'm glad you got it fixed. Yo, thank you, Mia.
Let's cut to the chase. It's fentanyl, right? It's fentanyl. It's always fentanyl.
I don't think that makes you kill yourself.
Let's cut to the chase. Is there a drug that can cause someone to kill themselves? Not directly.
Not directly, no.
Oh. Do you want to voice?
Yeah, I'll be the forensic man.
That's quite a roundabout response. Yeah. That's quite a roundabout response. You mean that there is one that does it indirectly?
It's possible to induce a suicidal mental state, is what I mean.
That's hard to say. What would a suicidal mental state be?
Like a person with serious bipolar disorder. It's believed that people are most likely to attempt suicide when swinging from depression to mania. Interesting.
Clinical depression and bipolar disorder are different. Clinical depression indicates a prolonged state of depression, whereas bipolar disorder is characterized as a passive depressed state accompanied by very active manic states.
Individuals with clinical depression suffer from low self-esteem and are quite pessimistic, but rarely commit suicide. Let's fucking go! They don't have the willpower to commit suicide. Nor does mania on its own lead to suicide. That has an opposite effect, filling the person with confidence and making them feel as though they're walking on air. Thus, they do not commit suicide. Also, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry. I should put like a trigger warning on this fucking stream. I mean, I put a violence. You know how you can tag it with like sexual themes? My stream is always tagged with sexual themes, but I tagged it with violence for when I stream Higurashi because I know it gets
pretty serious.
Yep, absolutely. Filling the person with confidence and making them feel as if though they're walking on air. Thus, they do not commit suicide.
That's interesting. Neither states Neither states call suicide, but when the condition changes, they might do so.
There is a desire to commit suicide when in a state of depression, but they do not have the willpower to commit such a formidable act. But when they enter mania, they gain a burst of willpower, and their body moves as they desire.
I see. Why are you so fucking excited, dude?
He's really excited.
So that means that the game willpower to commit suicide.
That's how it goes. That's why patients are given sedatives during that time to keep them from acting on their impulses.
Then was Tomitake bipolar?
People who suffer from bipolar disorder generally commit suicide by a more civilized means, like say hanging or jumping off a building. Self-harm, as though going through withdrawal, is completely different.
Tomitake's death wasn't civilized. One would think that it was caused by some foreign substance. As I said from the start, tell me of the drug that causes someone to commit suicide.
There are reports that methamphetamine overdoses produce a condition that resembles a bipolar disorder. It's a stimulant. Barbiturate overdoses are also reported to cause erratic behavior. That's a sleep aid.
There are no signs of stimulants. Are there any other possibilities?
All I can think of is that it's some sort of illness. Something like Graves' disease, which affects the thyroid and is known to cause symptoms that resemble bipolar disorder. But Graves' disease has many characteristic symptoms on its own. The deceased exhibited none of them.
I wonder if there's something that could happen more spontaneously. Something that fits this case and would cause someone to want to commit suicide all of a sudden.
Are you familiar with organic mental disorders? In short, it's a condition where the brain is out of whack due to physical injury or illness.
Oh, like prions?
It can be caused by drugs, but it can also be caused by physical trauma, encephalitis, a stroke, or even tumors. And what I'm thinking of is whatever the one is that's caused by concussions, because that also happens.
Basically, even without a drug, one can succumb to an irregular mental state.
The deceased was surrounded after being chased, his life was in danger, right? All that stress could have messed with his brain chemistry. He could have hit his head, and all those factors combined might have caused him to mutilate himself. It's a possibility.
Could you explain to me in simpler terms?
Oishi, that's pretty straightforward, dog.
I am American. I need it simplified.
Blah. Wait, what the fuck? This is okay. I mean, I guess this is how people talk who deal with this shit all the time. Basically, he knocked his noggin in the brawl, and that made him go haywire. God, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Just imagine.
This is crazy.
Just imagine House saying it.
Fucking House.
No, I guess that means that the assailant didn't have any intent to kill. They smacked him hoping to nick some change and just happened to hit a bad place.
The two plump
men laughed hoarsely.
Ha 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 ha.
But of course, it's not like that.
Ahem. Undoubtedly. Whether it was habitual drug use or something mental, the deceased's background holds the key. How's your investigation going?
Oh my goodness, look at the time. I need to get back soon, or Kuma-chan will be angry with me.
Yeah, good luck. Best wishes.
Best wishes.
I mean, I know that was to give us background, but at the same time, like, it is weird how they talk about it. Threat.
The thing is, when people talk about, like, I'd say in general, like, visceral cleanup stuff, they have to be, like, it's kind of a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You
they
have
see
to
it
be,
all
like,
the time. You can't just be serious about it.
If you're serious about it, then it starts mentally affecting you, and then you can't do the job anymore.
Right. But like, even if you joke around, you're still gonna have trauma seeing stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, you joke about it to like dampen the trauma. That way you can like, especially like when you're joking about it with friends, it's a shared trauma. So that way you can like, you feel comforted knowing that like everyone else is dealing with it too, and that you together you can get through it.
Yeah, I could see that as a coping mechanism for sure.
Herm? Those guys just now?
They had national diet badges. Who's Kuma guy? Oh, it's Kuma.
Then it's prefecturally assembly?
Prefectural
assembly members Sonozaka and the city council of Sonozaka.
Yeah, so in Japan, there are different prefectures. They're kind of like counties.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's interesting. The prefectural assembly member and the city councilor are related.
It's dirty what it is. Shooting each other name during the election. Shouting each other's name during the election. While one is up for the election, the other one holds an assembly and they double their campaign's activities. Yeah, that seems pretty fucked.
Yeah.
Admittedly.
I don't know much about this stuff, but isn't that against the rules of the election?
As long as they have no prior constituency, there is no restrictions on their political activities, Kuma-chan. The second investigational division is going to be pretty rough for you. You should at least brush up on election laws.
I'm not cut out to handle intellectual crime. 'Cause I'm dumb.
There was a prefectural assembly member, Sonozaki, and city councilor, Somozaki. Also, the mayor, Miyazawa. So they're all influenced by the Sonozaki family. What crap.
Looks like they were seen off by the deputy chief and the department chief.
It came to me. That night, when the department chief invited me along to get some Odin, I thought that was it.
Another car scene. Who's Takasugi? Okay, hang on. You have a lot of connections, so you might have heard something. Have you?
Nope, not a thing.
Ma'am, I'll take a tofu fritter and fish cake. The counselor stormed in on the police chief in a rage.
Oh my, is that so? Ma'am, I'll take another bowl. Prefectural assembly members Samazaki and city council Samazaki were both intimidating. Our snot-nosed career police chief couldn't handle being yelled at them by them. They're like Yakuza.
A petition with your name came up regarding how the investigation of the Hinamizawa incident was being handled.
Goodness me. I'm not the faintest.
No need to play dumb. You're reopening the past cases regarding Hinamizawa, aren't you?
I've already got my hands full with Tomatake's death.
Really? I hope so for your sake.
There was a period of silence. While we were silent, we made headway about our food and drink. Whew, that was quite a feast.
I didn't mean to hit that.
This month has been a bunch of losses for me, so my wallet is feeling the pinch. Much appreciated.
Ah, it's nothing. Tell me a good horse again. I'll bet on the same one as you.
I haven't been doing that as... I've not been doing well there lately. I've been able to read the horses all. Taxi. I'm going by train. The department chief is taking the taxi. I have my own car, but it'd be rash to drive it home. Can't blow it right before retirement with a DUI. Even though he could still rattle it off, looks like his legs were already jelly. Pushing him into the cab, I gave the driver the department chief's address. Well, see you tomorrow. Best wishes.
Oishi-san.
Yeah?
The past incidents have all been closed. Stop lumping them all together. Those villagers half believe it's really a curse.
Well, I'm not convinced.
You're gonna be retiring next year, aren't you? Weren't you gonna pay off your mortgage with your severance pay and move up to Hokkaido with your mom?
Lover pines to returns to her birthplace.
Dude, he's gonna go move up to Hokkaido, and that's where fucking Erased happens. Because that's 4 years from now, 5 years from now, Erased happens. Well, yeah.
It's the least I can do. And the pension, too. Well, it lets me enjoy myself in... How do I pronounce it?
Susukino? Yeah, I think so.
Susukino? No. Nya ha 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 ha.
The chief said he may have to reconsider issuing your special retirement salary raise.
Public servant severance pay was calculated based on their monthly salary when they retire. So a special promotion of 2 pay grades is given before retirement.
That's sick.
This tops up when the employee severance pay that tends to how it's done around here. That's kind of worded a bit weird.
That tends to be how it's done around here. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a tricky one.
I just read it weird. Yeah. Of course, it's not exactly a commendable custom. Incidentally, the difference that 2 pay grades make up a payout is quite significant. I'd expect nothing less from our egg-headed chief, quite the model veiled threat. But well, considering how our pay comes to the public hard-earned taxes, it's the way of the times, I suppose. It certainly wasn't a laughing matter, but I'll laugh through it anyway.
I don't think it's such a model response, but given how hard you've worked, it's not at all odd for you to take home such a good package. Personally, I'd like you to get it.
If I can get it, well, of course I'd want it. Yeah.
You'll get it, as long as you're an adult about this.
Sorry for holding you up there, driver. Thank you very much. I closed the door, roughly interrupting the department chief's conversation a bit rudely. It looks like he still had something to say, but I just smiled wryly and waved. And I waved in return. The cab speed up gradually and soon disappearing among the sea of lights. Nya ha 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 ha. Oh man. I wonder if I'll be able to repay that loan.
Alright, a lot of Oishi. We got a lot of Oishi happening.
It's almost like he's gonna die.
Save. End of chapter 9. We did another chapter. Continue. Hello? Tap, tap, tap.
I'll read it for a bit.
Yeah.
The sound of muffled footsteps stomped in the front of my door to my room. A moment of silence, as if whomever they belonged to was asserting that I was inside. Of all the things that I should have been doing, I continued on with my restless slumber. I was very much conscious, but my body hasn't caught up yet. Even with danger bearing down on me from just beyond the door. It was as if I was completely paralyzed, unable to move. Without a doubt, this was sheer terror. Please, just leave. Why isn't my body awake yet? If it came in my room right now, then... Ah! A cop talking about retiring, dying now. What are you talking about, dude?
Nah.
Eek. No, you know what? I'm gonna stop doing the fucking, like, hoarse voice for Keiichi's
For his mom. Okay. That's up to you.
I sprung to my feet and threw up my covers at my mom, who was opening the door. Whoa! Keiichi? What's the matter? Sorry. I'm still half asleep. I thought it was 1 or 2 a.m. But the morning sun was already streaming through the gaps in the curtains. It felt nothing like morning. Yesterday I must have fallen asleep right after that. Then I should have gotten a full 10 hours of rest. But I didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up and my sense of balance fell off. I felt feverishly enough that it was clear to me that I was still not well. Well, Keiichi? How are you feeling? Can you make it to school? I felt far from well enough. No, I wasn't mentally fit to go. I was still plagued with terror from yesterday.
That's fair.
If I'd swallowed that needle, what could have happened? Or what if it has pierced my tongue? It's undoubtedly a murderous intent, but I don't think that's all it was. If they really wanted to kill me, then there were other more certain ways to do it. They wouldn't resort to just a dubious method as to have me swallow a needle. Meaning, I didn't want to believe it, but going that far was just a threat from Rina and Mion. Aren't you glad you didn't die? But next time, we'll use a more assured method. Like that. Something about sending a letter with something like sending a letter with a razor inside would have been a joke compared to this. Did you make it to the hospital? Did you take your medicine? Yeah, kind of. Something about my mom's dubious gaze bothered me. She seemed more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. It was definitely mental fatigue. I wasn't really physically ill. It'd be hard to get back on track once your daily routine is thrown off. Come on, get on up. Then say, well, wellness is a state of mind.
Oh, Keiichi's mom. You're not sick.
You're not sick. You just
wellness
think
is a
that
state
you're
of
sick.
mind. Yeah.
You just think you're sick.
If you just... Oh, hello, Hobo King. Welcome in. We love to see the little bouncing bows. Little toros down there. Let's throw some toros in the chat. Nothing bad has happened at all. Our friends from school didn't put a needle in our mochi. Like, everything is fine. Wellness is a state of mind, after all.
I'd hear that line many times before. I was given the award in elementary school for having perfect attendance, but it wasn't like I was healthier than everyone. Come on, go wash your face. Breakfast is already ready. There isn't much time before Rina-chan comes to get you. Dun-dun!
Yes.
Mom's home meant I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping a second day. By the way, were you the one who got bean paste all over the living room wall, Keiichi? You shouldn't do something like that. Your father was quite angry. I didn't feel particularly guilty about doing it, so I didn't really have much of a reaction. Also, Mom didn't question me any further about it. She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. What Mion said yesterday, I'd hate if you missed school tomorrow, came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What did she mean by that? I didn't really have to think really about it. She was saying, don't be absent. Taking it a bit further, it was the same as her saying I should just go about living my life as if nothing has happened. If she showed any signs of acting unusual, she'd probably result in making her move. If I acted differently, someone like Oishi-san, for example, might end up noticing that something's up. Meaning, if I didn't watch my mouth, or did anything differently from the norm, in effect, it would end up communicating something of those who were undesirable. And it seems that was something that the girls didn't intend to forgive. So, if I just went along with normal, no harm would come to me. Was that how it was going to be? All that misery I experienced up until yesterday would almost creepily just fade away. It was an enticing deal. Just by forgetting everything I've seen or heard for the last few days, I'd be able to live on like normal. There's no way such a selfish thing could. I swallowed hard. I once again deliberated on the idea that I've just rejected. Mion was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. She was giving me who had mistakenly broken some rules for a chance. Was what I did really something so unforgivable? But Mion had given me another chance. She was saying if I just forgot everything and kept living on like it. Man, Kiichi, I get you're in a stupor, but
Dude is having a fucking
I'd be forgiven.
internal monologue.
Keiichi, your food's gonna get cold. Hurry up and get down here. Ren will be here if you don't hurry. I'm coming. I crammed my textbook into my bag and hastily made my way downstairs. I picked up my somewhat bland breakfast. Rude. It seems like I didn't have much time. I was already past where I usually meet up with Rena. Given yesterday's event, she probably will be here in the next 5 minutes. I need to be ready to head to school by then. I had to forget everything that happened in the past 2 days. I don't know. I think having like needles in my food would make it a little bit.
No, it's not gonna be easy to just like live normally.
Forget about it. I'll live to my normal life. From this to be normal, I'd have to be where I normally meet up with Rena. Today of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. I jumped at the sound and dropped my chopsticks. That chime signaled that Rena had arrived. Mom hurried me along. Come on, Rena-chan. Come on, Rena-chan's already here. Hurry, hurry. My mother's merry smile and my gloomy face were polar opposites. Honestly, I was reluctant to see Rena, who was waiting at me at the other side of the door. The Renner on the other side. Was it the Renner I knew? I couldn't keep her waiting. I needed to do things as usual.
Morning.
An invigorating reader filtered in from across the doorway.
I came since Kiichi-kun was a bit late. Will he be okay today? I wonder?
The manner of which Rena was concerned was, without a doubt, the Renner I knew. That was probably only if I reciprocated. Forget everything from yesterday, pretend that nothing has happened. Forget about the gruesome dismemberment. Forget about the mysterious deaths that happened the following years. Forget about people falling to their deaths and the terminal illness and suicide and fatal beatings and disappearance. Forget about all of it.
Yo, hey Tofu.
Forget that Rena and Mion were scary. Of course, forget it all. Forget about all of it. Forget about all of it. Forget about the mochi too. Forget. Damn, I think there's a needle in my drink.
Oh my god. You alright, Will?
Yeah, just get a drink. Rena once again asked just to make sure.
Can
you make
it to school, Keiichi?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Great. Then let's go. Michan's waiting.
Rena showed me her usual bright smile. I couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. My nervousness dissipated, giving way to relief.
The music cuts out and it's like,
Yeah, I was expecting that too.
Yeah. But you see, Satoko-chan was so insistent she could do it.
As we were walking, Rena talked about a lot of different stuff, more so than usual. Then?
Satoko-chan is so clumsy. So she failed no matter how many times she tried. How? She was so cute.
Everything Rena talked about was so silly and nonsensical, so I replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was rather laid-back conversation.
Nice.
We passed by another one of our neighbors, and they called out to us.
Oh
do you want to do
my. Yeah, I'll just... Oh my, Keiichi-chan and Rena-chan. Aren't you two a bit late today? Mion-chan said she was going on ahead. I don't know what happened, old lady. Uh-oh. Did Mi-chan look mad? I wonder? We need to hurry up, Keiichi-kun.
After greeting our neighbor with a smile, Rena turned back to me and poked her tongue out. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack a smile.
Ha, Keiichi-kun smiled.
Hmm. What? Rena stopped and stared at me.
I was thinking that you still hadn't recovered from your cold since you seemed down this morning, Keiichi-kun. But now you seem fine. Fine.
With a grin, she gently poked my cheek. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Keiichi Maribara, how can you still doubt Rena after she shows you a smile like that? Maybe I just had a high fever up until today, and I imagined everything that just happened because I was bedridden and delirious. I really hope that was the case. If God would just grant me one wish, there's only one thing I'd wish for. I would want that to happen in the past few days. More specifically, from the night of the Onikakushi up until last night, I wanted all of that to have never happened. I wonder how many times I wished for that these past few days. As long as Rena kept smiling like this, I think it might just become reality. So I wanted Rena to keep on smiling. Keep on smiling.
So, Keiichi-kun. Keiichi-kun. Fuck my life. It actually got me, dude. It actually got me. Oh, got the photo negative shot. So, Keiichi-kun, those mochi yesterday, did you eat them all? Here, hold on. I want to see. I want to see if anything looks crazy in the... Show me the console.
Keiichi giving her the fucking side eye.
It's normal. It's all normal. The original is just so much better.
Yeah. That vain wish of mine instantly shattered.
Yeah.
My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. Rena's smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were as gentle as usual. Those mochi yesterday, did you eat them all? Of course she wasn't asking the question at face value. In other words, Rena was asking, did you get the message? She was probably trying to convey that.
Keiichi-kun?
I was reluctant to give an answer. Rena stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Ah. Don't hesitate, Keiichi Maribara. Was Rena acting the same as always, wasn't she? I needed to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. But both my throat and mouth was gone dry and my lips were stuck together. Hurry and answer, Keiichi. Not much time has passed. I could still keep the conversation going naturally. I had to say something quick. D? Rena playfully mimicked what I said, and then I finally squeaked something out. Rena's reaction was still normal, even though there wasn't a long pause after I'd fought. Somehow I finally squeaked out the rest.
I clicked the wrong thing.
Delicious. However, my strained efforts neither sullied nor brightened Rena's expression. For a moment, I panicked, thinking I replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Rena broke her usual small smile and giggled with a joyful voice that seemed to echo through the morning air. Being strung along by that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as well.
I see. So did you eat them all, I wonder?
My timid smile froze again. Did you make it without swallowing the sewing needle? Was that what she was asking? If I had swallowed it, then I wouldn't be here. Nah, I couldn't finish all of them. There's still some left. I was scared out my wits, but that's how I played it.
Huh? Well, what about the homework to see if you could tell which one Rena made?
Aha, that homework, was it due today?
Yeah, it's due today. Michan will get angry. There's probably a penalty game ready for you.
We both laughed at each other again. To the casual observer, it was just a typical morning. If I could just let myself believe, then even I would think it's just the usual morning routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There's something unimaginably buried beneath the facade of this giggling Rena.
Is she actually saying this? You
I
liar. Liar.
I think this is
Lies.
in his
This has
head.
got to be in his head. I don't think she would say that here. Yeah.
I recall an unexpected piercing voice that I could hardly believe came from Rena's
I
mouth.
can't even do it justice. I'm gonna have to show you in the anime what her saying Usoda, which means liar, sounds like. It's really good voice acting. I mean, there's the voice acting in this game is probably good as well.
The moment that image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. Was it only at that particular time that something evil had possessed Rena? No, that was wrong. That was still Rena. Weef-san told me, didn't he? Actually, I looked into her before Ryuga-san moved into Miyazawa. She was suspended from school. It seems like she went through her school building and broke all the windows. Rena had a disorder that normal people didn't. No matter how pleasant she smiled, that fact would not change. But I couldn't imagine how she looked as she broke all those glass rows out the school. One thing I knew that it wasn't something spur of the moment. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, then maybe she'd break a pane or two. But she broke all of the windows throughout the school. Just imagining going through your own school and breaking the windows with a bat.
Oh my god, they're
Swinging
doing
full
a
force.
fan service shot for this is crazy. It's actually devious work.
Swinging full force at each pane of glass, one after the other, paying no heed to the flying shards. Your classmate, aghast, unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found the most windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with the Rena smiling at me right now. But I had to imagine it. Impossible! Because it was unimaginable. The naive way of thinking no longer worked. That unpleasant, piercing sound of the shattering glass, the crunching noise as Rena tread across the broken shards, walking towards me. Rena's classmates going pale as they forgot to even breathe. I wonder what they did as Rena came closer, breaking windows along her path. Did they earnestly try to bring her to her senses by saying something? Or did they just jump at her trying to stop her savagery? Or did they just run to the staff room and call for the teachers? Probably none of those. In the face of that blood-curdling sight of Rena busting window after window undoubtedly, all I could do was just silently clear a path for her. Dumbfounded, just clearing a path for Rena to continue. It could be cruel to blame everyone. My bro, you don't know any of this.
Yeah, this is all just happening in Keiichi's head, by the way.
He's just fucking imagining all this. It would be cruel to blame anyone for looking the other way. No, they were simply looking the other way. They weren't just simply looking the other way. They knew it was the only way that they could protect themselves.
Dude, I clicked the wrong thing. It's losing my mind.
Yo, this girl is crazy. They may have suddenly found themselves as Rena's new target. Oh, it's Rena. What would Rena have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. She would just undoubtedly acted according to her whims. Meaning they would be the next window.
They would. I would be the next window. This is all. Yeah, Keiichi's going through it.
Rena staring into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and crackling underfoot as she drew closer. I was also drawn into her eyes, paralyzed. Then Rena struck me with a bat over and over again as if I was one of those windows. I crouched down on the floor, desperately protecting my head. Rena didn't care whether it was my head or my back. Zealously, she hit me again and again. What kind of expression was she making as she was doing all this over and over again? I peered up to see.
Oh God.
Her expression was so indifferent, it was completely unnerving. Because no matter how many times she struck me, I didn't make as pleasant as a sound as the other windows. It struck me continuously. She struck me continuously. Over and over again. The sound of Rena didn't want to... The sound went... I can't fucking read.
That's okay.
Do you want to take over?
Yeah,
for a
I'll
bit?
take over on narration. The sound Renner wanted didn't come out. Our classmates standing around didn't try to stop her. They didn't want to be the next window. Somebody save me. Turning a blind eye unless we're hanging out? But, of course, everyone in class scrambled to obtain the highest standardized test scores. They'd gain nothing from saving a cram school tryhard like me. There's a lot of internal issues. Eventually there would be a faint sound, similar to when you crack open a walnut, and some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Rena momentarily lost herself in anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I recalled what Oishi-san had told me. And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up, and quite a bit at that. What does? She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama. It feels weird that they're showing this to us again, but I guess it's because it's a different chapter. But like this just happened.
Yeah. I could see someone playing a chapter a day.
Yeah. I mean, it has been several months since we've played, so.
Yeah.
Following that, Rena was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. Then, as Rena was undergoing counseling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama. It seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost, appearing in her house every night, standing over her pillow looking down at her. That was only a piece of their conversation, so I still couldn't see the big picture, but it was by no means a happy little conversation. Then, what Rena did was she saying that ghastly incident was a result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say the mysterious deaths every year happened because of some sort of conspiracy. Every time I talked with Oishi-san, I was more certain that the deaths were the work of men and not some curse. Except, if it was people perpetrating the incidents, my friends were somehow deeply connected. If I refused to believe that the curse was real, then I would have to believe that those who acted the kindest to me were deeply involved in the incidents. Why? How? For what reason? Was Rena? Was everybody? It was much more painful and troublesome than accepting that it was just Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the aftermath, Rena had admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. I felt a strange sense of relief from that. So that's how it was. There wasn't a second side to Rena. She did that because she was possessed by something strange like Oyashiro-sama. It wasn't Rena's fault. Oyashiro-sama was the one to blame. I knew. This was all backwards. Refusing to believe there was a curse, I wanted there to be a human perpetrator. Now that all my close friends were the ones under suspicion, I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse to blame. Which was the better choice? Accepting that the curse exists? Or that Rena and the rest of them were deeply involved in this string of mysterious deaths? I didn't want to think about it. If I just didn't think about it, I'd be able to continue the same as always. I just wanted to believe that. But that was no longer possible. I had received their message. It was pathetic of me to try and bend the meaning to my own convenience. Regardless of whether my opponent were a human or a curse, I won't let it kill me. As if I would just bend over and give in, for no good reason at all. Alright, yo, hello, Cookie Cat. Dude, he's just been sitting here. He's having a fucking JD from Scrubs cutaway gag, only it's like horrifying. Let's see. Do you think Rena, okay, Mego, do you think Rena suffers from what would be labeled at the time as some sort of bipolar disorder? Mego, that is a good question. That is a very good question. Because it's possible.
At the moment, it feels like it, but at the same time, you could probably, I don't know, because both Rena and Mion have acted kind of weird. Mion, I feel like, has more ulterior motives.
Well, she has connections.
Her family has like direct connections to possible cases.
Also,
Rena,
thank you so much
meanwhile,
for the follow, Rota, Prince Rota.
Rena at the moment is kind of, I don't know. It would chalk up if like she was possessed, but I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit of copiing on Keiichi's part.
I think we need more information. In the meantime, though,
don't worry, we got 40 hours left.
There's 40 hours more time to figure out. Okay. Keiichi-kun? You've been making a really weird face. Why? I wonder? Inhaling sharply upon hearing Rena's voice, I came back to my senses.
I'm sorry, Rena. I could have sworn that I felt my mouth bleeding. Oops.
Dude, sorry. I was just in my mind palace imagining what it would be like if you were beating me with a baseball bat. It's a normal. If you just said that right now, I wonder what would happen.
Renner, have you ever seen Reservoir Dogs? I was imagining I was tied to a chair.
Oh my fucking god. Before I had realized that we were already at the entrance, shaking my head a few times, I exercised all of those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you looked at it, there's no way Rena could have done such terrible things. It was like I was trying to placate myself. Dude, we just fucking disassociated. Also, as I slid the door open, a blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped down on my head the moment I stepped in the classroom. Dude was sleeping and forgot about Satoko. The chalk dust went into my eyes, inducing a brief moment of agony. Ow. There she is.
Oh, how befitting of the Turant Keiichi-san.
Good morning to both of you, Keiichi and Rena. Good morning, Satoko-chan, Rika-chan. Not quite in the mood for it.
Well,
I didn't really react to Satoko's trap. Satoko braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. She seemed a bit disappointed that I simply walked by silently.
What is this? How discouraging indeed.
Keiichi doesn't seem back to his usual self yet. Yeah. Take it easy on him for today, Kei. Suddenly there was a slap down on my shoulder. It hurt a bit. Hey, Kei-chan, did you get enough rest? It was Mion. My mind was full with stuff about Rena, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember, Keiichi, that hawkish gaze from yesterday.
Yeah, morning.
What's with that unenergetic greeting? Did you eat the mochi I brought you? I'm like this because I ate them. Those words were itching to be blurted out.
I really just didn't have the appetite. I ate a few, but a few were left, but quite a lot were left over.
Huh? What about the homework? Do you have an answer for which one was Rena's? Keiichi-kun said he forgot his homework. Ha 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 ha. Sheesh. Can we help it? Time for your penalty. Meh. Flashing a lurid smile, Mion returned to her seat. There was nothing from our exchange that would cause our classmates to suspect anything was amiss. But of course, anyone listening to our conversation up until this morning wouldn't see anything suspicious. That was why it was so frightening. They acted in a way that regardless of whatever happened to Maibara Keiichi, no one would ever suspect them. The fact had me terrified. Soon the teacher came. After she asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began. Everything's back to normal.
Don't know about that, Chief.
Sailor Mercury. It does kind of look like... Chie does kind of look like Sailor Mercury. This free study period was a convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered the ridiculous position I was in now. First of all, what I shouldn't forget was how dangerous of a situation it was. I had fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Oishi-san multiple times, I could see it. I could see it as I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. The warning yesterday with the mochi was a good indicator of that. No, calling it a warning was just my habit of understanding things. It probably had no meaning beyond stunting my progress and buying themselves some time. Until they had a method of completely erasing me, they were just biding their time. Even though they were keeping me under thumb with threats, it didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation of my desk made me recall Satoshi Hojo, the boy who was using the seat up until just last year when he disappeared. Was he also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have and was erased? Damn. I wouldn't let them get to me so easily. Never.
Well then.
Yeah, erased is so good. But were they really trying to kill me?
Shake, I'm a bit lagged. Just let me disconnect and join back.
Yo, no worries. Alright. I've had these... Okay, hey, Will. Can you see now?
Oh, I'm still a bit lagged. Give me a sec.
I don't know what the issue is.
Disconnect the call completely.
Okay.
There we go. Could you share the screen again?
Yeah.
Thanks. Nah, we were both roboting.
Oh, we were both roboting. Oh, shit. Did Satoshi also go on hour-long internal tangents? We'll have to see and find out. See if we find out more about Satoshi. Keiichi is in his own head. He's really in his own head at this point.
Bro is crashing out.
He is losing it a little bit. I've had these contradictory feelings for a while now. Even though I suspected them, I felt I had to cover for them. Even having witnessed all of their suspicious behavior, a morning like this just made it all seem like an elaborate hoax. No, that's just what I want to believe. Doubting my friends? Covering for them? My life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my current situation, those points were something that should have been deliberated on a long time ago. But really, Rena and the rest of them, were they actually aiming to kill me? That little voice inside me continued to torment me with these unresolvable trains of thought. Are you an idiot, Maibara Keiichi? The answer should be obvious. But maybe that sewing needle might have just been an accident, right? How could you screw up and drop a sewing needle into a piece of mochi? The benefit of a doubt can only go so far. Both Rena and Mion had acted and behaved suspiciously, but maybe it was all some sort of misunderstanding? What kind of misunderstanding? It wasn't just suspicious, it was outright ludicrous. Rena just corrected me for lying, and Mion only asked me about what I had had for lunch. Rena was standing outside my door eavesdropping for a solid hour. She was probably just waiting for my phone call to end. For a whole hour outside your room? And is it normal to go home afterwards without saying anything? He's like having a debate with himself right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You heard from Oishi-san, didn't you? About what Rena did at her former school? But at the hospital, she said it was Oyashiro-sama's fault. Dude is just saying this out loud.
You realize they're out. Oh, what the fuck? No, don't be saying this out loud, my dude. You realize they're out to kill you?
I inadvertently blurted those words out loud. Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded for a few moments. Afterwards, I had to look around to check if anyone else had heard it. My little soliloquy cut a little too close to the truth. Even though I could feel the murderous intent from Rena and the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. This late in the game, such hesitation could be fatal. I knew that. But I was just your average student, a man living his normal, ordinary life. Do you think I could suddenly believe that all my friends who I had been happily laughing together with up until last Sunday now intend to kill me? Right?
You're too soft, Keiichi.
This time I remembered to keep my voice down so only I could hear it. There was one thing now that I understood. I was too soft. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Rena and the rest of them were. No, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Oishi-san when he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I didn't comprehend it, so no one had any notion to try and kill me. I needed to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made that resolution, I heard the bell signaling the end of class. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. My friends were putting their desks together in preparation for club activities. Not long ago, I would have probably happily jumped into that circle.
My, Keiichi-san. How rude of you to even think about leaving.
The way Satoko spoke was so typical and familiar, it almost physically hurt. Huh. Keiichi-kun, is today not a good day, I wonder? And we were going to win big together. How? Seeing Rena's expression, which said she was really looking forward to today, was hard to take. Hey Keiichi, maybe Oishi-san is just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from the others by lying to me? Slap? Trying to expunge such weak-minded thinking, I slapped myself in the face. Keiichi-kun? Yeah. Was Rena really trying to kill me? I wish someone would tell me if it was a hoax. I didn't care if it was actually blah 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 blah. I didn't care if it was actually, oh my god, I can't read. I didn't care if it actually was one or not. I just wanted someone to say it was. Gah. Yet another weak-willed thought. Hey Strawberry, I don't really have a Discord command. I apologize about that. I gotta get my shit together. Wow. Also, Bo, thank you for the resubscription. 17 months. Holy shit. It's all real. The earth is flat. What? That's wild. Are you alright? Does your head hurt? Apparently that was how my inner dilemma had appeared to Rena. 'Cause you sat on it by accident? Sorry? Oh my god. I wish my face was flat. Anyway. You're pale. Can you make it home by yourself? Maybe I should accompany you home? I wonder?
No, it's okay. Sorry.
Our boy Keiichi is losing his mind.
I can get home by myself. I just have the meeting without me.
Upon hearing that I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting, Mion pouted unhappily. Since Kei-chan was so bent on a revenge match, we were going to play the deduction game from before too. We were going to play Clue.
Keiichi-san doesn't have the burning desire for a rematch? How pathetic.
I wouldn't fall for some dumb taunt. Without even a real retort, I just grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head. Keiichi doesn't seem to be well. How very unfortunate. It was Rika-chan. She was stretched up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with her petite hand. It felt so nice, which made things even harder.
Sorry. Everyone. See you.
He's like, I'm getting out of here. That's
yeah.
That's
the thing. I feel bad because like Sasuke and damn it, their name's slipping me.
Satsuko and Rika didn't do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, Sasuke and Rika didn't do anything.
No, it's just
Not yet, anyway.
Well, there are a few more games. That all said, I quickly left the classroom. They said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance in that state of mind, took out my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Harden that heart, Keiichi Maibara. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me? They were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. But I couldn't hate them. Because they were my friends? Part of me lamented my naivete, while the other part lamented the fact that I had lost something important by lamenting over it in the first place. It felt like my personality was being ripped in two, along with my body. If this is what Oyashiro-sama's curse was like, then it was just too harsh. Hey, Oyashiro-sama, I was wrong for not believing in your curse. But I believed in it now, completely. Your curse does exist. So seriously, give me a break. I beg you, come on.
I'm the guy. Haven't I suffered enough?
Dude is arguing with himself in his mind about the god of the town. They didn't do anything as far as you know. Yeah. Dinner was unusually bland. It had no flavor or aroma. The miso soup that normally tantalized my appetite instead tasted like nothing but boiling water. Dude, does Keiichi have COVID-19 in 2000
or in
1983? In 1983? Dad was eating with us that night.
Wouldn't that just be SARS?
Maybe, I don't know. Was SARS a thing in the 80s in Japan? It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got into his work, he ate and slept on his own schedule. I'm going to be honest, I am getting a little bit tired of the Keiichi inner monologue hour.
Yeah.
My dad never cared about the time. Since my dad was at the dinner table, it meant that he had just reached a good point to take a break, or he was in a slump.
So yeah, he just doesn't understand the motivation creators have. Your partnership was just a verbal agreement, wasn't it? If it's so hard to agree on things, why not just end it? I feel like it's an industry with a lot of back scratching, but when it gets to the way of business...
I wasn't able to pick out much of my mom and dad's conversation, but I could tell that it wasn't a very pleasant topic. That, of course, made the disgusting food even less appealing. Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought process I had going all day long. Friends close to me? No. They used to be friends, but I could no longer trust them. Right now, I was greatly lacking in allies. People I trusted. People I could depend on when push came to shove. They were just something I didn't have.
Don't worry, Keiichi. You've always got the police on your side. Oh, they retired. Yeah, you're by
He's not.
yourself.
I don't think Oishi's retiring until he figures this shit out. Whether or not he gets his good pension for it. Having just one ally would have been incredibly reassuring in the current hopeless situation I was in. I put down my chopsticks and looked over at my parents, who were still talking about work. The first course of action that came to mind was to tell my parents everything. Currently, there wasn't a single person in Hinamizawa I could trust 100%. That meant the only people I could trust were my parents. But if I told them everything that happened up until now, would they understand? Rena, for example. That neighborly Rena who was so diligent in looking for me, coming to get me every day, and sometimes even brought over a share of what she made. How could I explain that she wanted to kill me? No matter how I explained it, it would probably be difficult for anybody to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad wouldn't understand, and my high-strung mom would probably drag me off to a psychiatrist in the blink of an eye. Sadly, that was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Even if they did come to understand, what could they possibly do? Unless they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. No. By informing them of these unnecessary things, I'd be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering that the victims in past incidents were often married couples, I couldn't even joke about it. For the entire Maibara family to have an accident or just vanish into thin air, it was easily possible in Hinamizawa. What was important here was that knowing something unnecessary put you in danger. The most unsettling question was, how did they know that I knew? As long as they didn't know, my parents might not fall victim. That was one way to think about it, I guess. At least it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started becoming odd. In other words, it meant the following. As long as my parents... He is fucking going. As long as my parents didn't know anything, nothing would happen to them. Which means that this house would be a safe haven as long as my parents were in. I knew these were just assumptions based on conjecture, on top of conjecture. Wanting this house to be a safe haven, that was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe. It was only safer than the outside. I knew that I couldn't rely on my parents. No, I couldn't risk my parents getting involved. Then the only person who could be my ally would be Oishi-san. Him and him alone. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. Dude, having to trust the police is just rough. It's a rough time. He didn't care so much. Not only
trusting the police, but trusting a fucking guy who's already getting fucking scalded for digging up fucking past cases.
Yeah. He didn't care so much about my safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It was a bit frustrating. Oishi-san was basically the whole reason I was in this mess. Now to get out of it, I had to rely on him. Meaning, it was all going according to his devices. It was just my job to look appetizing while bobbing in the waves as bait. Then, when the fish started gathering around, Oishi-san would pull up the big haul. It was slightly infuriating, but even I thought it was the best course of action. So then, what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. Just keep waiting until the fish actually bites. But I wasn't simply bait. There were lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. When they struck, I needed to somehow dodge just enough to tag out Oishi-san. No question about it. This was going to be hard. The timing to bring Oishi-san in would be difficult. He was in the city, not Hinamizawa. So if I phoned him in my moment of need, it could take him about 30 minutes to reach me. So I needed to run away for those 30 minutes. For example, if we set up a rendezvous point for dire situations or something, I'd just have to hide out there until Oishi-san arrived. Okay. Oh, this is you?
Okay. I can almost see it now.
I was still being chased around in the dark by boogeymen, but now I knew which way to go. I would never have imagined this would be so reassuring. Oh yeah, it would probably be best if I had a concealed weapon for when things got rough. Typically, that would call for a switchblade, but that wasn't really too reassuring for combat. Yeah, for the record, never use a knife ever. Like, for protecting yourself, get something like a baseball bat for protecting yourself. Because a knife, if you're like not really skilled with a knife, you're just gonna hurt. You're just gonna hurt yourself.
All you have to do is drop it once, and then now your opponent has a knife.
Has a knife. Like, if you have a baseball bat, it's a lot easier to just, or like a club or something. Just saying.
Honestly, like even a shovel sometimes helps.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Also, since it was recognized as a weapon by the public, that also wasn't good. Really, when the time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. I remembered there was a metal bat at school. I could be confident with that when push came to shove.
Honestly, like just any stick, anything to like some distance is good.
Yeah, having range is always a good thing. If I pretended I was practicing my swing, then it wouldn't be suspicious for me to always carry it around. I could go to school early tomorrow and secure it. Just possessing a weapon might be enough to deter them. Also, one more thing, insurance. It could be something like a note or a memo. I could write down everything that's happened as a sort of journal. In case I suddenly vanished, the journal would be left behind. With my journal in his possession, Oishi-san should be able to avenge my death. I left my parents engrossed in their conversation about work and went back to my room. So that was a lot of internal dialogue, but we do have a little bit of, it does make a little bit of sense.
It's progressing. I think my main concern is like I just don't like it when it's like it's constantly like back and forth. It's like, this thing happened. I must now ensure that this thing happens. So in summary, if this thing happened,
I do think, at least in this first, hopefully the writing gets better as the series progresses, but there is a lot of redundancy. It's a little bit John Madden.
I feel like that's like the worry that I have for getting into visual novels is the whole fucking the never-ending trap of just having to hear the same points over and over again.
I've been reading light novels lately, and they read more like books than visual novels. Visual novels are a little bit more repetitive than like a book or like a light novel. So
I mean, I get it. If you're going from one chapter to the other, you do need a reminder about certain events.
Last time I wrote a journal was for summer homework in elementary school. In the off chance something bad happened, the police could use my diary as a lead. So I should only write down the facts. I think that's a common issue with translated media too. Like, Japanese language can sometimes be translated badly like that. That is also very possible. Because there's always going to be some sort of nuance that's lost in translation. How should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came.
I think it's forgivable when it's like a Japanese translation thing. I think it's unforgivable when it's like a Western or like an English written thing which is like anime inspired, and they're like, "Oh, this is like a cool thing that Japanese."
Oh yeah, that's
like, no. What are you doing?
Dude,
you the English language.
A copy of a copy is really rough. Do you want to read this part since he's writing?
I'll take over for a bit if you want.
That sounds good.
Keiichi Maribara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh nervously. It was a line that showed up so often in detective stories. I never even dreamed that I would be in the type of situation where I would have to write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Rena and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof. And that's why I couldn't write anything more. I left wiry at myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police be able to get the hint from reading this enigmatic passage?
Now, if I didn't know that this was written in 2002, I would see the word enigmatic and immediately think this was written by ChatGPT. Because shit throws enigmatic everywhere. It's so bad.
I can only pray that they would. What I prayed for the most was that the journal was never needed to play its part. What I pray here Here I laughed nervously.
Yo, ZX Romance, thank you so much for the follow. Have some milk. Welcome in. My name's Gigashake. I'm a cow. It's my friend Doodle Will. We're playing Higurashi. A lot of Keiichi internal monologue happening.
Brother do be yapping.
He is yapping.
It was too simple, so I wrote down one more line. Just a thought. The only thing I know is that it had something to do with the Oyashiro-sama curse. Was that too much? I probably shouldn't write more than that.
Not gonna write about the needle?
Yep. If I wrote any more than that, it would seem like I was just delusional.
Well, I guess...
In order to appear to the reader that the person had written was of sound mind, I chose not to write anything else at this point. I mean, he can add to it later.
Yeah.
I just needed to add more as I learned about the truth. I folded the paper and thought about the place to hide it. By hiding it somewhere obvious, there was a chance that they would uncover it instead. On the other hand, it was too obscure of a location that there was a risk that no one would find it at all. In the end, I decided to take the clock off my wall and stick my folded note on the back with Scotch tape. After that, I put the clock back to its normal position. Yeah. It didn't look like anything was hidden behind it. Now I needed to set it up as if anything happened to me, my parents could find it. I looked at all countless different angles until I was satisfied, and I made my way downstairs.
Yeah, we're getting all those fucking cricket noises, for sure.
My parents were still talking about work.
Full crickets.
It didn't look like they were going to stop anytime soon, so I cut in. Sorry to interrupt. I have something I want to talk to you about. I never started off a conversation like that before, so my parents were both startled. They stopped talking and turned towards me. What is it, Keiichi? I have a favor to ask you. Please listen. Just in case. Yeah? If it's not urgent, can we do this later?
Jesus.
Right now, Mommy and Daddy are talking about something urgent they are talking about. I didn't think their talks were more urgent than mine in case I stated my request. Just in case, okay? If I die... Both of my parents' eyes were wide as saucers. If I die, I want you to put the clock on my wall in my coffin. If they did that, they'd probably find it. My memoir. Both of my parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. I couldn't blame them. I made that clock in shop class, and I really like it. So please. What's the matter? Keiichi? Did something happen? Mom finally was able to ask me that with a questioning gaze. Of course this was a normal response for when someone's son suddenly talked about a subject like this.
It's a little bit of an alarm.
I felt bad about them making worry, but right now I wanted to make sure I wanted them to think about the clock in my room. With the awkward move leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back up to my room. I want to get to school early tomorrow, so I'm going to bed. Good night. Saying only that, I left the living room. I need to get to school early tomorrow and secure that bat. I should make today the last day I went to school, Rina. As I climbed the stairs, I heard my mom call my name, but I pretended not to hear her. It wasn't something I could talk about with my parents. If I talked about it, it would really make things more dangerous. The fight that I had begun was mine and mine alone. I couldn't rely on anybody. I wouldn't be killed. Not when I knew nothing. Dun dun dun.
Not feeling so hot.
Not feeling so hot.
Oh boy. I got pursue the truth behind the crime. I got an achievement. What chapter are we on? Chapter 10? I can't remember how many
For doing one
chapters
more.
there's in this one. I think there's like 14 or something. So we can do one more and then maybe finish it next time.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hopefully we can finish it next time. Alrighty. Let's read this tip.
Not feeling so hot.
Keiichi-kun's been feeling down lately. Maybe he's in a bad mood. I wonder. Maybe he's on his period.
Yeah, that is something you would.
That's such a Mion joke. Holy shit, that's a Mion joke. Mi-chan, that's gross. Ah, yeah.
Yuck.
What do you think? Don't know. Could it be that Kei-chan, maybe? I don't know. That day, Kei-chan was in the car talking to some tubby middle-aged guy, right? Yeah, no mistake. That Oishi, he probably fed him something fishy. He looked serious. Keiichi-kun's face was so pale. You see, you might not know this, but he's actually the messenger of Oyashiro-sama. Huh? What do you mean? Whenever he shows up, someone is demoned away. No lie. Oh? Is that so? The year before last, when Rika-chan's mom drowned, right? Right before that, she was visited by Oishi. Now that you mention it, he was around before Satoshi-kun transferred out, too. Transferred? You're so sweet, Rena. So this time he's appeared before Keiichi-kun. So, Keiichi-kun is going to be demoned away too? An empty silence hung in the air. And then it was suddenly interrupted. Hello, Juno. Welcome in. By loud laughter. Huh. Interesting.
Kind of curious that they're labeling Oishi as the
Harbinger of the curse.
Yeah.
It is a little bit confusing based on Keiichi's perspective of things.
It was the first time I've ever woken up in such clarity. It was 5:09, just moments before my alarm would go off.
I hate that shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, sometimes it hits good, because, I mean, sometimes you don't want to be woken up by a blaring alarm.
That's true.
I was amazed by the precision of my internal clock. I had made preparations for the next day of school before I went to bed. I changed quickly and descended to the deserted lower floor. It appeared that my mom was still asleep. Neither breakfast nor lunch was ready. Yesterday, this is a rough
Unilaterally.
word. Unilaterally declared that I would be leaving early today, so it could be helped. I don't think I've ever seen unilaterally actually spelled out.
Actually spelled out, yeah.
Yeah. I flavored jam on some bread and topped it with an instant Coke. Cocoa and jam?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
don't know about
Keiichi,
that, Chief.
this might be the most questionable thing about Keiichi's mental state at the moment.
Just as I was finishing up breakfast, Mom rose groggily from her slumber. Hi, Keiichi, you're up early. Is there some sort of school event? Not really. Answering bluntly, I picked up my bag and stood up after stuffing 2 slices of bread down my throat. You're leaving already? What about lunch? If you don't wait a bit, you can't make it. As I waited for her to make my lunch, then it would end up being the same time as usual. If I did that, it would arise chances of me running into Rena and Mion on the way. Yes, from today onwards, I was going to school alone. I'll be fine for today. Then what will you do for lunch? I'll slip out and buy some bread or something at the store. Really? Then here's some lunch money.
You're gonna eat bread for breakfast and lunch, dog?
Be sure to bring back the receipt. I took the 1,000 yen bill from Mom and slipped it into my pocket. It's really early. Is Rena-chan up this really early as well? No, just me. Did you tell Rena-chan that you're leaving early? I have no reason to tell her every little detail now, do I? Finding it difficult answering this onslaught of questions, I made an annoyed face. Tell Rena that I went ahead when she comes. Hey, Keiichi, wait. It's not that I didn't trust my parents. I just couldn't rely on them. They couldn't help me. I could only hope that they didn't get involved. That I was safe. It was safer that way. My mom's annoyed voice was cut off by the slam of the door. For the first time since I moved here, I headed down the road to school alone. Up until now, I'd always walked down the same path at the same time each day. So I always met the same people at the same places. But today was different. I didn't meet the people I normally would, and no one was at the places where I would have normally met them. Of course, Rena wasn't in the spot where we usually met, and there wasn't anyone at the spot where I would have met up with Mion. The lights of the trees and shadows of the morning air and the brightness of the sun, it was a completely different type of morning from what I was used to. Without a doubt, it felt strange. It left me the impression that I had destroyed the illusion of Hina Miyazawa had set up before me, enough time to prepare me for all the props I needed to deceive me.
Keiichi-kun.
Oh.
You're so early today. Is everyone meeting early this morning?
The person who called out to me was someone who was always passed by as we were taking a walk on the edge of the field. Their name was, I forget. Of course, this wasn't the spot where we usually pass each other. I woke up early today, so I thought it would be a good change of pace. That's all. I threw up a random excuse.
What about Rena-chan and Mion-chan? Are you by yourself today?
Well, yeah. I don't trust this villager. This villager's a narc.
Yeah.
I was being asked the same type of question my mom was asking. So I answered her in the same uninterested, vague manner. It wasn't funny being asked where Rena was each time I passed by someone. But maybe it was to be expected. It was because for so long we were always together so amicably. Even I felt that I let my guard down. We could still be friends. Stop it, Keiichi. Don't think about that anymore. You spent all yesterday thinking about how dangerous it was to go soft, didn't you? Beep, 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 beep.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
A car horn blurted at me from out of nowhere. Even though I was walking lost in thought, that horn was way too close. A mechanical behemoth barreled from behind me, catching me completely off guard. By the time I turned around, the van hulking chassis was almost on top of me.
The van.
I've seen plenty of cars veer to the opposite shoulders to avoid pedestrians, but this car was doing the opposite. It felt like there was someone on the opposite shoulder of the van was swerving in my direction to avoid them. That blissfully ignorant train of thought delayed me from realizing something much, much more important. That large mass was hurtling right at me. Was it gonna hit me? The inside of my head instantly flooded with a painfully cold liquid. In that moment, the scene before me, no, time itself had frozen. In the silence of that frozen moment, I compared the van so close that I had no way to dodge it, and my body in the upper half twisted awkwardly in order to look behind me. There's no way I could dive out the way of my current position. If I lost focus now, this moment would unpause, and I would probably be plowed over, caught in this silly pose. Bent my upper body towards the paddy by the side of the road. If I bent far enough, I'd get away with just being hit by the side view mirror. As soon as that thought crossed my mind, the temporal status was shattered by the deafening sound of the van. The side mirror struck my shoulder, sending me spinning off through the air like a top locked in a
Contorted.
contorted position.
Kasplash.
Kasplash! Sent tumbling through the air, I crashed into the muddy paddy by the side of the road. My entire body was soiled and drenched. But the choice I had made in that instant was unmistakably for the best. I was covered in mud, but when the alternative was being hit by a car, it was the closest I could have been from being unscathed. Rising out from the paddy, I had enough in me to glare over at the stopped van and yell profanities at the driver. I'm not sure if he was able to see me, but the span sped off suddenly.
Yo, hello, Shinon. Soiled and drenched. Yeah. We're having a bit of a rough time today.
Wait, damn it. This is what they call a hit and run, wasn't it? I couldn't help but continue yelling out profanities. The disgrace from being covered in mud hurt me more than any physical wounds. I stalked through the muddy paddy and made my way back to the road. This is a crime, goddammit. Shit, I'll track you, I'll sue you! Yeah, you almost got truck-cooned. If I go looking for a van, I'm sure to find it in this little village. The path I was on only had rice paddies on either side, and it became so narrow that one car could barely fit through it. It wasn't the place you could tear full speed down in a car, let alone pass by pedestrians. Not only was it a narrow road, but the car now was just closer to my side of the road as it went past me. Even as I cursed, I was desperately trying to suppress the dark cloud rolling up within me. This wasn't just a hit and run. That car just now was trying to run me over, wasn't it? Thinking back, I didn't feel like there had been a car creeping on me slowly for a while. That's right, as soon as I parted ways with that person taking a walk, I had that feeling the whole time. If it had wanted to pass me, then it had no shortage of chances. Normally, I would have felt suspicious and turned around sooner. But I was so lost in thought, and now I was kicking myself for not realizing it was there sooner. And then, when the path became narrow, there was no one else in sight. He floored it. If I had hesitated for even a moment, the result would have been no laughing matter. As the adrenaline rush from the nearby being run over subsided, and the realization of just how terrifying the preceding events were sunk in, there was no doubt about it. That van intentionally tried to hit me. A cold, vicious sweat seeped from my scalp and slipped down my back before dribbling off. I struggled to avoid falling into a panic. There's still the possibility that it was really just an accident. Calm down, Keiichi. But also, don't be so naive, Keiichi. Being that lax will get you killed next time. You always need to be on your toes. Don't give them any openings. If an enemy really was out to kill me, then next time they would use a more reliable method. If that time came and I was acting like I was now, getting covered in mud was the price I had to pay for my own naivete. Covered in mud, but without injury. Not even a sprain. I guess this is what you would call a silver lining. I began walking again, this time cautiously. I won't even show a hint of carelessness. I suspect only Rena and the others up until now. No, it was because I had suspected them that I had believed that there was no other enemies. Oishi-san had said so, didn't he? That there was a possibility of village conspiracy. Was I really mired so deeply in the situation that I had no choice but to try and carry on as usual? Wouldn't it be just safer to just hold up in my house? But the moment I abandoned my regular routine, everyone around me would abandon theirs as well. That's just too horrifying of a thought. I recall the tale of Oishi-san told me where the Hina Miyazawa was still called I.
Onikakushi.
I'm so done.
No, it's fine.
Bro's yapping so much.
Yeah. I will take over. Give me 1 second. I'm going to throw some ads on and go pee.
Alright, I'm going to get myself a drink.
Do a 60. Alright, we'll be right back. I hit the button. I want to see if it... throw up an ad. Oh, ad going. Alright, I'll be right back. Boop. I don't know if Will's back yet, but I'm back. We chillin'. Bum bum bum.
I'm back.
Ba-dum bum. Welcome back. Alright, I'm gonna start reading. Let's see here. He is really going... He, like, almost gets hit by a van, which is bad, but now he's, like... A frightening tale of an entire village of demons hunting their prey, surrounding them and eating them alive. One must not interfere with demons. One must pretend not to see it. The enemies were numerous, the whole village. The villagers with their unwavering faith in this curse would do nothing to help me. The strong, sudden flash of sunshine made me slightly dizzy. I had no idea what was going on anymore. When I suspected it was the work of man, I would catch a glimpse of Oyashiro-sama's curse. And when I suspected it was Oyashiro-sama's curse, someone would poke their head out. Was it a coincidence? What was intentional? Who was my enemy? Who was just a bystander? No. What I really, truly wanted to know was how did I end up with the proverbial bullseye painted on my back? Eventually, an answer in a form I could understand will appear. I don't care when that will happen, because until then, I cannot die. That alone fueled my resolve to fight, and will keep me alive.
Keiichi, you have that main character energy, but I don't think that you got the motivation to fucking fulfill with it.
I think his mental is suffering. I remembered seeing the metal bat in the gym storage shed, but there was a padlock on the door barring my entry. At the very least, I wanted to get my hands on it before everyone else arrived at the school. I circled around the school grounds impatiently. But all I could find were things like pieces of lumber, Nothing I could bring into the classroom easily. Then I had an epiphany. I should search inside the classroom. If it was something in the classroom to begin with, then there wouldn't be a problem. I could tell that everyone's indoor shoes were still in their lockers. Good thing I came early. Nobody else was here yet. I wondered, what could I find in the classroom? I didn't think I could find an especially effective weapon like a bat, but it couldn't be helped at this point. Until the gym storage shed was open, I needed to find a substitute. A lingering hint of naivete whispered that there was no way I'd be attacked at school, but such soft ideas would no longer protect me. To think that they were slowly making their way into parts of my life that I had once thought impenetrable. In the worst case, my own house might not be safe anymore. That was an incredibly frightening thought, but I believe that not during the worst case scenario would have been even more frightening. Anyways, I will survive. So long as I live, then I will definitely be able to escape this labyrinth of nonsense. Definitely. My exploration of the classroom came at an impasse. That much was to be expected. There was no way there would be anything that could be a weapon in the classroom. In case of emergency, there was probably nothing I could do but swing my own chair around. My gaze landed on the lockers that had come to be used for personal storage. The locker that Mion used to store her pile of games was among them. There was one for each person in the class, all lined up. Of course, there was one for me as well. Oh yeah, there was supposed to still be a tracksuit in my locker. Seeing me covered in mud would be strange, so I should go change later. But first, I needed a weapon. If one of my classmates came, it would be hard to rummage through all the lockers. I swiftly began opening the lockers one by one. They were mostly filled with things like gym clothes, personal items, and umbrellas. An umbrella? If I couldn't find anything better, this would have to be my weapon. I was about to give up on finding anything decent when I opened a locker that had exactly what I wanted. It was, without a doubt, a metal bat. It was well worn and pretty beaten up, but there was no doubt it was usable. In that locker that reeked of mold, there also hung a baseball uniform.
I wonder who student. I wonder what student this is.
It was probably just the locker of a student in Pee Wee League or something like that. If that was the case, he'd probably ask for it back. At that time, I could hear the voices of children scuffling their way noisily in from the hallway. Amongst them, I could make out Rika-chan and Satoko. Good morning.
My, you're quite early this morning, Keiichi-san.
I nonchalantly hid the bat I was holding behind my back. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's an insane.
Just put it
These
down,
fucking
dude.
children under 10 years old.
What's with your outfit? You're covered in mud. Yeah, I had a little accident. I'm gonna go change now, so cut me some slack.
With that said, I began taking off my clothes. Wait, what? Okay, Keiichi, you're going to jail.
Why don't you take a seat over there?
Oishi
Why don't you
shows
take a
up.
seat over there, Keiichi?
Oishi shows up and is just like, you're under arrest. With that said, I
What
began taking off
inspires
my
you
clothes.
to take your clothes off in front of these two little girls? Perversions.
Chris Hansen. Satoko began to blush just as I expected her to.
Changing in front of a lady, have you no tact at all? But I think that a lady staring at someone who's changing would be the one lacking in tact.
Keiichi, I'm not sure that's how that works, dog.
Yeah, Keiichi, you go to the bathroom, my dude. There's no changing rooms for the boys, so just deal with it.
Dude, it's doing another ad. I'm gonna scream. As Satoko feigned disgust, she went into the hall, still blushing. Conversely, Rika-chan continued to stare at me, preparing to change. I'm incredibly uncomfortable right now.
I don't like this. If Rika-chan is a lady as well, then I don't think it would be appropriate for you to be watching.
I'm not a lady, so... Oh my god, hold on.
You just fucking stare. Yeah, fucking do it. Fucking do it, F-word.
I'm not a lady, so it's fine. She deliberately pouted and looked at me with upturned eyes.
Well, then, starting now, you're a lady.
If I'm a lady, then I suppose I must. Rika-chan, appearing to be satisfied with being considered a lady, made her way to join Satoko in the hallway. Just as I breathed a sigh of relief, Rika-chan stopped suddenly and turned back towards me. Are you going to start playing baseball? It seemed that Rika-chan had noticed the bat.
Yeah, just, you know. I was feeling a bit out of shape. So I thought I'd just try practicing my swing.
I think it's wonderful that you're taking care of your health. She was talking like an old lady despite her appearance. After saying that, Rika-chan started to leave again, but stopped and looked back at me once more. Please don't lose that bat. It seems she already knew I took it out of someone's locker. There was no name on the locker door. I didn't know whose bat it was, but I would be borrowing it until they complained. It wouldn't be for long, just until the gym storage shed was opened. After quickly changing into the tracksuit, I checked the time.
I think it might be the guy who got spirited away. I think it's his bat.
Satoshi.
Yeah.
I still had plenty of time before class began because I came so early. I took the bat in one hand and went out to the schoolyard. That was, of course, to practice my swing. I needed to make it known I would always have the bat on me so I could practice my swing. At some point, the sunlight had become even stronger. Disregarding my classmates as they made their way to school, I took my position in the shadow of the school building. I wasn't the academic type, and I wasn't much of an athlete either. I might get muscle pain if I just suddenly started swinging. I should at least start out with some warm-ups. I doubt anyone would think I was doing something out of the ordinary, which was the exact opposite of my actual mental state. At least he acknowledged it.
Well, at least he's self-aware about it.
Yeah, he knows. I gripped the bat and swung lightly. The bat was by no means light. The weight would make it a reliable weapon when it needed to be. Of course, I could only pray that the moment I needed to use this as a weapon would never come. Just carrying it around could deter attacks against me. At least, that's what I'd hoped. Huh? Kei-chan? What are you doing? Being bombarded with such a hysterical voice, I jumped. Whoa, Keiichi-kun, are you on the baseball team? The baseball team? It was Rena and Mion. I was surprised to hear you went off ahead. What are you doing, Kei-chan?
Can't you tell by looking? I'm practicing my swing for the championship. You can say that it's part of my diet if you want.
Diet? Kei-chan, are you really that fat?
Bet you didn't know that I actually have a beer belly. It's plump and it jiggles.
Incredible. Plump and jiggles. Rena's such a fucking...
Rena, you don't have to imagine something weird like that.
To disrupt Rena from imagining something that vulgar, I ruffled her hair messily. Well, then, I hope you make it to regionals at least. This old man will cheer you on. Regionally speaking, it seems that Oshima High is pretty strong. They say their southpaw, Kameda-kun, is amazing. Good luck. Seems they've already taken me for a baseball nut, but oh well. Well, if I really did make it to the championship, it would be a cinch. After all, I'd be the pitcher and catcher. Keiichi!
Raising!
Keiichi's insane. Okay, this is 2002, so I don't think he meant what we're thinking he means.
Yeah.
But, you know. But we can think about it now, in the era of boys' love. I'd pitch the ball, then run past the ball I just threw, and change over to being the catcher in a burst of super incredible explosive speed. I laughed dryly at the ludicrous image. Coming back to my senses, I smashed the bat against the ground.
Damn it! What am I laughing at?
I pounded the ground over and over. With each impact, the reverberation traveling through the bat stung my hands. If they smile at me like that, I'll... Don't allow anyone close to me. Don't trust anyone, no matter how many times I tell myself that. If they make me smile like that, I'll... I already knew quite well that there were demons dwelling in my smiling friends.
Yo, that TV show.
But I just couldn't believe it. Did that kind of split personality really exist? Like how Rena confessed to the doctor? Were they simply being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? In other words, did a supernatural being like Oyashiro-sama really exist? And was it possessing everyone to try and kill me? Yeah, that would be wonderful. If only everyone were actually my friends all along and everything was all just Oyashiro-sama's fault.
Damn fool, Keiichi Marabara. Come on now.
I yelled out, drawing out all the power from the pit of my stomach, and raised the bat violently into the air.
Stop being so soft!
As I screamed out with all my might, I beat the metal bat into the ground over and over. With every impact, my weakness was being beaten down. Smash. Forget. Smash. Don't be soft. Smash. Know your enemy. Smash. Like hell I'll let him kill me. My shoulders heaving up and down from my ragged breathing. I heard the first bell ring just as I calmed down. It's just a really long shot of the school. I gasped with the sudden realization. That was the final bell. Wait, what?
He was out.
He was out there for the entire time? As I felt all the tension drain from me, I let out a deep breath. My mind was in a muddled state for much of the entire day. I didn't feel like I was awake, but I didn't feel like... No. Okay, no.
Yeah, final bell for the
He
morning.
went to school, but he just, like, spaced out through the rest of class, it seems.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't feel like I was awake, but it didn't feel like I was asleep either. I couldn't say it felt especially comfortable, but I felt the kind of relief that the sanctity of the school part of my daily life had yet to be violated. How long would I have to keep on living like this? I could only grit my teeth and bear with it as this living hell slowly gnawed away at me. Keiichi-kun, come on, it's club time, club time. The sound of Rena's voice brought me back to my senses. Come on, Kei-chan, stop spacing out. Bring your desk. Everyone was moving their desks together as usual. That's right. It was happy, fun club time. But I had no intention of taking part. I haphazardly stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag as I prepared to go home. It was a weak-handed gesture to avoid having to actually say, I'll be going home now. What's this, Kei-chan? You planning on going home right away again? Mion sounded quite disappointed.
I'm just not in the mood. Could you just let me be for a while?
The tone of the words that spilled from my mouth matched Mion's disapproving glare. Aw, thank you so much, Amy. It felt like the air in the room had dried out. Satoko looked like she was about to say something, but perhaps dissuaded by the mood, she swallowed her words and stayed silent. Nobody said a thing. I took that to mean I could leave if I wanted. But the collective gaze of the four of them, like the tiny pins used to mount an insect in a display, held me in place. That is really... that is a beautiful way to put it. Reno was the only one who cut through the heavy mood. Keiichi-kun, you just didn't like playing with girls, I guess? She said it in such a melancholic tone that it sent a wave of pain racing through my heart. If this pain was going to kill me, I wanted it to be the soft part of me that could still feel pain. I tore at my chest, violently tearing out the pins that held me in place.
It's not it at all.
I'd only be hurting myself by saying anything more, so I swallowed my words. Cutting things off there, I turned and exited the classroom. They didn't speak a word to me as I left. It was a long, dull trip back home, but I didn't lose focus. I firmly squeezed the grip of the bat, which was already soggy from sweat. Realizing that, I wiped it down with my sleeve. If something were to happen, I didn't want it to be slippery. Since this morning, I'd become especially sensitive to the presence of cars. Even when walking, my ears pricked up and sought out threatening sounds and presences that could be closing in. And that was why I could hear it. Without a doubt, there were footsteps. Those footsteps had matched up perfectly with mine for a while now. From what I could sense, it was just one person, but I had no intention of being careless. Did they intend to follow me like that car this morning, until we were in a good location to assault me? Then it wasn't a good idea to keep walking like this. I stopped walking and looked back. The wooded path, crowded with trees, responded with silence, as if there was nobody there to begin with. But I wouldn't be fooled. I was certain footsteps were following me. And just as I stopped, the footsteps stopped as well. Meaning the person following me wanted to keep their distance. That was, without question, proof that I was their target. I held my breath, waiting for that presence to panic and start moving again. The trees rustled with the sound of the wind. The Higurashi also joined in the dissonant chorus, trying to throw my focus into disarray. Had 5 minutes passed? Or had I been like this for a whole 30 minutes? It was so hard to breathe that I might have suffocated. It seemed I would be the first one to panic. Without a doubt, he was lurking in the shade of that tree with bated breath. I think bro is
just going crazy with paranoia.
Oh my god. I mean, he's certainly not acting in a way that's normal.
Listen, if someone gave me mochi and those fucking razor blades in it, I think I'd be a bit
not great. Then I'd make the first move. I fixed my grip on the bat. I raised up my shoulder to be ready to swing it at any time.
Hey! I know you're there!
With all of my might, I screamed at whoever was hiding in the shade of the trees. But the presence in the shade didn't budge. Until the moment I found them, they had no intention of revealing themselves.
I know already. I know you're there.
I screamed out angrily at them again. But even still, they didn't move at all. Then I'll go over there by myself. With all due vigilance, I approached, step by step. Stepping into the tree's shadow, I saw a human figure there. That figure was curled up like a small animal.
Rena.
When she realized I had found her, her expression softened. She seemed apologetic, but wasn't going to speak a word.
Did you have some business with me?
Explodes. Hi, Magnus. I wouldn't accept that silence and screamed the question at her. Oh, God. So he screamed, did you have some business with me?
Yeah.
No, not really. It's just, Rena was in a panic with tears welling up in her eyes. But it was obvious that she had been following me.
What about the club?
Since you're not, I'm not...
That shouldn't matter. Don't mind me and just play.
But, I'm just worried about you. Thinking about how I've been acting up until now, it wasn't hard to imagine that my behavior could have been perceived as strange. So Rena was concerned. At a quick glance, that's how it would seem. But I wasn't going to let my guard down that easily. Even if it was really the case, she still wouldn't... She wouldn't have to do something like try to tail me. She should have called out to me when I was leaving and gone outright with me. But Rena didn't do that. She kept her distance from me and matched my walking speed. On top of that, she matched the sound of her footsteps and deviously tried to hide her presence from me. Then, after she realized I noticed she was there, she held her breath as she tried hiding from me. She wore a timid expression that would force one to take pity on her, but without a doubt she was trailing me.
Stop following me.
How? Still glaring at Rena, I continued walking onwards. After I'd walked for a bit, she ignored my command and began walking again, so I yelled at her once more.
I told you not to follow me.
But, my house is in the same direction.
Then walk ahead of me. I'll start walking once I can't see you anymore.
I moved out of the way and waved my bat violently to urge her forward. I'd like to go home together with you. Making a pitiful expression, she meekly squeaked out the words in a voice that she knew would cut into my heart. That agitated me to no end. I knew it was a lie. If you wanted to go home together, then you should have called out to me. Now you're just blurting out random lies. I'm sorry. It seemed that the seething anger within me was written all over my face. Even without saying anything, Rena had understood what I was feeling inside.
If you get it, then go.
I swung the bat, urging her again to walk. Rena looked back and forth between me and the bat and started walking hesitantly and then stopped again.
Go on, then hurry.
I'm going. So please stop with the bat. It's scaring me. Rena guarded herself while pointing at me holding the bat. She may have realized that I wasn't planning on using this bat for baseball. I lowered the bat, but still guardedly opened the way for her.
Go. There's no problem now, is there?
There was nothing else she could protest. She passed me timidly so as not to set me off. Yeah, this is pretty rough to watch, Mia. As I watched her pass by, she stopped completely after having barely moved at all.
Hey, don't stop.
Then a powerful gust blew past us, barraging my face with dust. The dust got into my eyes and clouded my vision. While rubbing my eyes with my left hand, I swung blindly with the bat in my right, protecting the small opening I had presented. But Rena didn't even try to attack during that opening. Attack me? No, she hadn't budged an inch. I could tell from the sound of her fluttering skirt in the wind. As her skirt settled, so did the silence. At that moment, the voice inside of me immediately warned me of impending danger. I was caught by surprise. The smell of the air had changed. Without me realizing it, the air around me suddenly felt like a calamity was about to befall me. It was like the air had suddenly become invisible concrete, like Rena and I were locked in this space. Rena didn't move an inch. Also unable to move, I stared at her back. Rena was the first to break the silence. Instantly, she altered her stance. I felt like I had witnessed her shift from Rena into that other person who looks like Rena. But the voice was one I knew well, which filled me with a kind of bewildering pity. Carelessly, I felt relief upon hearing that pitiful voice. Well, excuse me, but, can I ask you something? Too shy to even turn around, Rena squeezed her voice out desperately as she trembled.
What?
Well. Why do you have that bat, I wonder? The question Rena asked was by no means unexpected.
I carry whatever I want.
But you didn't have one up until today. Why so suddenly?
It's alright if I decide to do something suddenly, isn't it? Is it strange that I have a bat?
But because, Keiichi, you're not the kind of person to play baseball. It's weird. I couldn't tell what kind of answer she was looking for, and I was getting tired of answering her.
I just suddenly got the urge to play baseball. Is that so weird?
It is weird. She answered instantly, and that annoyed me slightly.
I just suddenly wanted to play baseball. I wanted to practice my swing so I could carry around a bat. What's strange about that?
Strange. Weird. Definitely. Why you too?
Your ramblings are annoying me. Is it strange for me to have an interest in sports?
I tried to sound a bit more threatening to end the conversation. Until my suspicions about Rena were cleared, I had no obligation to answer her questions. I'm sorry. Don't get so angry. Rena still didn't turn around and spat out words of apology one after the next. Just one last thing. Tell me one last thing.
I don't feel like talking anymore. Hurry up and go.
I yelled loudly at her, causing her to flinch like she had been struck. Seeing her in such a pathetic state caused my heart to ache sorely. But even though she was afraid, she stubbornly kept herself from moving. Before I was able to threaten her again, Rena asked her final question. Why is your bat even the same? Why is even your bat the same? What did she mean by the bat was the same? I had no idea what she was talking about.
What are you saying?
I mean, why is even the bat the same?
I don't understand what you mean at all. Say it clearly.
Even still, Rena didn't turn around. After inhaling deeply, she screamed. I mean, why even is the bat the same as Satoshi-kun's?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, yeah, it's you.
Huh? Huh?
Upon hearing that name out of the blue, I became dumbfounded for a brief moment. By Satoshi, did she mean the student who transferred out last year? No, that couldn't be. Rena had tried to cover it up by saying he transferred, but Oishi-san told me quite clearly that he was missing. He was the student who sat at my seat up until last year. He was believed to have been demoned away by Oyashiro-sama's curse. I didn't know the details about his disappearance. The aunt he lived with was killed the night of the Watanagashi by a drug addict, and not long after that he suddenly vanished and was now missing. That Satoshi and I were... what? My gaze fell to the bat in my hands. Could it be? Satoshi Hojo. It was a bit difficult to see, but that's what was written on the white tape at the end of the bat. I see. So this was Satoshi's bat.
Oh. This was Satoshi's bat. Since no one was using it, I borrowed it. That's not a problem, is it?
That's not it. The way Rena said that made it seem like this bat was something that should never be touched. Like it was some sort of offering at a shrine, or a memento of the deceased. I could only stand there, perplexed and unable to respond. Rena continued speaking without waiting for a reply. Why is it that you're doing the exact same thing Satoshi-kun did right before when it happened to him? Rena was talking about more than just the bat belonging to Satoshi. It was the same with Satoshi-kun. He joined a baseball team, but he didn't really like baseball.
What does that have to do with me?
Satoshi-kun also suddenly started walking around with the bat one day. He joined a team, but he wasn't the type to play sports. What about it? I closed my mouth before I could say that out loud. Listen carefully, Keiichi. Rena is trying to tell us something important. Satoshi-kun also one day came to school all by himself all of a sudden, just like Keiichi-kun. Then one day, he suddenly started practicing his swing, just like Keiichi-kun. Then one day, he suddenly began carrying the bat around with him, just like Keiichi-kun. Then one day, he suddenly... Then one day he suddenly what? Rena had swallowed her words. Rena's sudden silence brought a hush back to the surrounding area. It was then that I could finally digest the content of the entire conversation. She was saying my chain of actions was exactly the same as Satoshi's. What was the meaning of this? Up until now, I'd forgotten all about Satoshi. I had never paid much thought of him in the first place. Not only that, I didn't even know anything of what he'd done. My actions today should have been my own creation, after all the planning I had done. But they had been exactly the same as Satoshi's. Then Satoshi, no, more importantly, if both Satoshi and I acted the same, then there was a really good possibility that what happened after would be the same.
Rena, that day, what happened to Satoshi?
Rena knew. She knew what became of Satoshi. No, forget about what happened to a guy in the past. Rena knew what was going to happen to me.
Answer me, Rena. Satoshi, what happened to him?
With that, I grabbed Rena's shoulder violently and forcibly turned her around to face me. As I faced her, I felt a jolt travel through my entire body. I told you, Keiichi-kun. It was that person that I didn't know. At least, it definitely wasn't the Rena Ryugu I'd been talking up until now. The voice just now didn't have a trace of the trembling or emotion that it had before. The amount of regret I felt for turning her around so carelessly was unsurpassed. That gaze that pierced like a cold needle, the smile on her face that invoked the image of having been carved out by a knife. Chills went down my spine. My mind froze under a layer of rime. Both of Rena's eyes pierced through mine, leaving me unable to look away. As if to remind me of the fear from the time before, Rena brought her face close to mine, so close that I could feel her breath. Hold on, Her face had filled my entire field of vision. Then, her sharply shaped lips grew even sharper, like the curve of a crescent moon. She grinned. I told you, Keiichi-kun. After a short pause, Rena repeated the same words again. Satoshi-kun, you see, transferred out. Transferred meaning what? What Rena meant must have been some new definition of transfer that I was previously not aware of. My throat and lips dried up. I want to see. I'm curious as to what...
I'm assuming it's going to be the same sprite.
I am not so sure. Yeah, she's very close.
Very close.
All I could do was swallow down my own saliva. It would seem that Rena saw that as a nod. Okay, so no, it's... I swear to God. Not graphics. She pulled her gaze back and spryly stepped back 2-3 paces. As she did, my legs gave out and I fell to my knees pathetically. Rena, and me on my knees underneath her emotionless smile. That had to be a very odd sight indeed. Seeing me there in a pathetic state, she neither scoffed at me nor held out her hand, but I could neither stand nor escape with her gaze shooting through my eyes. There was undoubtedly a metal bat in my hand, but right now it was useless to me. I was like a fly caught in her web. Heavy sweat beaded all over my body. I could feel it dripping from my skin. Hold on. Okay, she's back. She's back. But you won't, will you? Keiichi-kun? Rena finally released me from that cage of time after what felt like an eternity. But her question was missing something important, and was incredibly vague. Once again I swallowed hard, urging her on.
Do what?
What did she not want me to do? Okay, here we go. Now. Yeah, it's just, normal times in Hinamizawa. Transfer. Boom. It's 9:12. How do you feel? We're not done with chapter 11. But this
Been
might be a
going
good
for
time to stop.
They've been going for 4 hours.
Unless this is
I
the
think
end.
that's good.
This is the no, it's not.
No.
Pinch hitter, take up another's bat. All right, we can save now.
Okay.
We are almost done with this game.
Shit has hit the fan.
Yeah, we are certainly at a turning point in Higurashi no Naku Koruni. It's a good, solid, almost 4-hour session.
We need Keiichi to look at the screen and go, well, that just happened.
Keiichi's gotta. I'm gonna be honest. Keiichi's gotta like. I don't know. I don't know how to say. I don't know how to save the situation. Things are bad. Things do not look good.
If it was me, I would just fucking try to confront Rena and Mion and just say, like, alright, what the fuck's going on? Just be as blunt as possible, being like, what the fuck do you know?
Yeah, but what if they just said we don't know anything?
Then that just lets you know that they're not willing to help you out, and at least that just severs the friendship.
Well, but then that's kind of where we're at. It kind of just means, hey, Keiichi's gonna continue to suspect.
Yeah, but Rena and Mion are still like, we still like you, Shinichi.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it seems we're at a pretty rough position, and I think
it's just the whole like veiled threats thing. You just want to unveil them and just be like, all right, what's going on? Or fuck, just literally just ask them about all the stuff they just keep fucking. Ask them to be truthful, and then they're like, oh, well, you should be truthful too. It's like, all right, you fucking say your thing first, and then I'll say my thing. I don't know.
There's a lot. There is a lot going on here, and there is a lot of stuff for us to uncover.
Option 2: leave the fucking town.
Just leave.
Just
It's
leave.
different when you live there with your parents, but he could just leave. That is an option.
Just get a stick and a rag and make a bindle and just
out. Just start walking. That is one solution.
Move up to the place where the fucking guy's gonna retire and get roped into the fucking story of Erased.
Yeah, he's just gonna end up in Erased. Oh man. In any case, we might be able to finish chapter 1 next time. It might. Okay, so we did chapter 9, chapter 10, and half of chapter 11 today. Man, there was a lot of Keiichi internal monologue.
A lot of internal monologue. I was kind of struggling.
I don't think it will be like this.
No, I hope not.
At least I know for a fact that it won't be like this in the next game. But this game, I wouldn't be surprised if it continues. However, I just think the most...
I'm fine with it. I just sometimes, like, when it's
a
like
lot.
Rambling about the same thing over and over, I get fatigued pretty quick.
It's definitely a little bit... The redundancy catches up. But, like, any time that the girls are involved, I think the thing that this game is really good at, like, that whole scene with Reno was excellent. I think those type of scenes are really well done. Like, character dialogue scenes. The internal monologue sometimes is a little bit too much.
I do like the whole, like, veiled, like... I always like the dynamic where it's like, you don't know what part of it is paranoia and which part of it is literally, yeah, we know something you don't know.
Right.
That's like a really good aspect. It's like the fucking getting nearly ran over by a van. That could just be a case of someone just being negligent. Or it could just be, hey, some fucking guy wants me fucking dead.
Went from having a harem fantasy to schizophrenia. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's, like, a couple of the ways that things could go is that, like, clearly they are hiding something from him. But at the same time, he does seem to not be in the best mental state. Like, we've heard his internal thoughts. It's very, I'm not saying that he doesn't have reason to suspect things, but
Yeah. Guy needs a mental health break day.
maybe he should go talk to Oichi. Though that doesn't seem to help too much. That might have actually been what started all of this.
I mean, okay, fucking Card on the Table Luigi's kind of a fucking shit. He's like, all right, I think your friends are,
hate
I think your
Oichi.
friends are related to these fucking murderers. Okay, okay, you deal with that, my dude.
Especially in this game, Oichi is like kind of a bastard.
Yeah.
I mean, he's literally just using Keiichi as bait, and then saying that he might be the next victim is fucking crazy work.
That's so fucked.
I mean, telling him to be careful is one thing, but like, dude. Also, suspecting Rika and Satoko is kind of crazy. Unless, like, he has other evidence, but it's not really, he doesn't really show it.
If he has other evidence, why hasn't he fucking told Shinichi?
Yeah. You know how cops are. Anyway, I think I'm gonna get ready for bed. I don't have work on Friday, but I do have work tomorrow, unfortunately.
Do we have any raid targets?
Oh, let's find a raid target who we both are digging. Let me look here. Do do